It's muted. Lucia, that is live. Live and ready. I'm live. Everyone, I am live to debunk transphobia. Six 546. Sam capture ready. Whoa, wait. Okay, that'll fix itself. It's in the recycle bin. Ah, yeah. Yes. Oh, NVIDIA software as well. Otherwise, we'll just be repeating the issues. All right, ready. I am ready to do the things. Hello, Simon Pierre Dubé. Lucy with a blanket. Lucy with a blanket is warm. And warm is good. Warm is good. How are you? Are you ready for me to... Well, let's play a game, maybe. Let's see if I can pull down the computer. I've been reading so many books because I have to make up for the fact that I've been excommunicated from the bookworm community, you know? I've been excommunicated from the community of bookworms for the sin of being correct. This is what happens when you are too correct. Which one? President Sunday one, of course. This is the sin of being correct on everything and more. Good news, there have not been any bombings lately. Yes, I have talked to Brooks privately and we have come to a satisfying settlement. We've come to a satisfying agreement. Also, I have been hold on. What? Hello. No way. Whoa. Incredible stuff. But now we're going to... Hello, Big Jerry. Hello, hello, hello. We will be, of course, first doing what we do best. Playing a game about big guys and little girls. Will be our warm-up thing. Hopefully during our warm-up, the computer will not warm too much up and we will not witness a death of the computer system. Does that make sense? Does any of that make sense? Am I making sense? Hold on. Scene. No. My hair is freshly baked. By freshly baked, I mean clean. Capture card. Activate. Browser deactivate. Okay, let's see. Let's see how this goes. Whoa! No time to lose. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Oof. Ready? Ready to be impressed. Is it working? Oh yeah, it's working. Okay, let's see. What about the sound? Yeah, sound also. So we're gonna go library, home. What have we been playing lately? Oh, Pragmata. Yes. Yes, please. Okay, we're gonna finish the demo. And you're gonna tell me how you like it. The biggest plus from doing this from the capture card is that I don't have to set every single game separately. So we're doing a little bit of gaming to begin with, and then we're going to debunk transphobia. Have I mentioned that transphobia has been debunked? Transphobia has been defeated? Have I mentioned that a new study has debunked transphobia decisively? It's over. From now on, whenever you'll meet a transphobe, all you have to do is say, the new study has debunked transphobia. Dr. John's name keeps escalating. What do you mean escalating? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. How can a name escalate? I've always called Dr. Żąs that. That's literally his name in the Discord. Dr. Żąs. What do you mean? There's no escalation. Dr. Żąs. Also, welcome. Not just transphobia will be defeated, also bad anti-Ukraine arguments will also be defeated. Yes, that's right. Bad anti-Ukraine arguments will be also defeated in the brutal house of ideas. Holy crap. Air siren has just sounded. It's loud. Holy moly. Let's see. Ukraine air siren map. Let's see what's happening here. Air raid alert map of Ukraine. Oh, well, I don't know what's happening. I have to go to X. I have to go to Twitter. I have to go to Twitter. I have to type Kiev and I have to see what's happening. What are we dealing with? Drones, missiles, what? Okay. Air threat for Kiev now. Incoming Iran, Russia drones, cruise and ballistic missiles. Uh-oh, so missiles and drones? I have to be afraid? Do I have to hide? If a missile hits this building, then it's nothing I can do. I'm a gunner. Hello, Maya Mayor. So I guess just move to Poland. I cannot just move to Poland. My Ukrainian blood does not allow me to do that. So if I just move to Poland, then who will? Don't get hit. Well, it's not in my hand. It's out of my hands. Although, maybe I'll use my anti-missile powers if you consider donating. Boom. Got him. Got him. Keep dreaming. Russia can't even beat Ukraine. Hold on. Where is the... So what's got... Oh, I wonder if there's gonna be any explosions. Why is the game so quiet? Poland is expanding in this imperialist context. The Russian propaganda was right all along. Just look at what happened to what happened to Dr. Żąs? Dr. Żąs accepts that the name is cool. Why is the game so quiet? What's wrong with the name? Everything is okay. I don't understand. Okay, let's play the game. I see Incube everywhere today. Well, wait, where was Incube earlier? System volume? Yeah, I'm trying. The game is so quiet for some reason. Sound settings, headphones. So quiet. Oh, I know, I think. Yeah. Now that's better. Alright, let's play the game. Hello. Standard. Welcome. Start on game mode. Yes. Remember that the more viewers come here, the more I'm proven correct about everything, because that's all that matters.
Hey, Diana! Little help here. Look out!
Also, what do you call what? I'm trying to conscript this child. Use your weapon primary unit to attack. Ammo will slowly recharge after use. Left trigger aim, right trigger fire.
Hey! You gonna help?
1 second.
You go.
Reach the green X node to hack targets. Move the cursor across the hacking matrix and connect to the EXE node to complete the hack, placing enemies in an open state, making them vulnerable to gunfire. LT aim, Y up, A down, X left, B right. The pyramids were made by aliens, thank you.
Need your hack in here. On it. Nope.
The hacking system is a big thing in this game. Filament. If you donate, I can buy this game, by the way. Refined from a mineral unique to the moon, known as lanum. Filament can absorb and copy any information it comes in contact with. required for various upgrades in the shelter, because we all live in shelters because we are all emotional refugees. We are all refugees of the mind. Don't forget. Also, I have talked to Brooks. I've told you this already. I've talked to Brooks in private and it's been going okay.
Get some.
Get hacked.
Take that.
Do you see how cool the hacking is? What do you think of this game? Anybody has any thought? Oh yeah, I've got good news. I've got excellent news for all of you. Apparently, I mean, you have to fight and do it at the same time. That's why it has to be simple. If it was complicated, then, you know, it has to be almost automatic, because you also have to control the guy at the same time. Apparently Diablo 4 got good. The second expansion hit. It has now 2 expansions. Apparently Diablo 4 got good now. So maybe I should revisit it. During the investigation of abnormalities and Cradle, Hugh Williams becomes isolated and meets a young android Diana. The two head to stuff floor of blah blah blah. That is what people that play it told me, that it got good now. So basically an IFV. Yes.
First, we get the power on. Let's move.
Let's move. Having this girl on my back is like having a turtle shell. People who spend $300 on the game? I don't know, some left content creator from the Discord that I'm in said that it became good. I'm in a Discord with left-wing content creators to facilitate collabs and whatnot.
You really sure you work here?
What? This is my fault?
Dodge.
Look out for its targeting sensor. Yeah!
How you like this? Is that it?
Also, I've got about 20 new subscribers from being mentioned in a video of a content creator, so that's cool. It's always cool. What is this? Oh, look at that. That's interesting. Let's jump in here. Oh, wall. Maya Mayor, hello, hello. I don't spend $300 on a game. I spend $300 on rent. My rent is that much. I gotta do what I gotta do to pay it. Oh man, today's gonna be exciting, because today is the day when transphobia dies forever. Mark my words. And you know what place of all places in the world has killed transphobia? Virginia. Yeah, I'm talking about my rent in Ukraine. Come to Ukraine and your rent will be 300. Okay? In fact, when I wanted to move to Vietnam, I got an apartment. I already had an apartment set waiting for me, and that apartment's rent was $150. It was a small apartment. Granted, it was a small place, but it was $150. I almost moved to Vietnam permanently forever. But COVID blocked the borders and I ended up staying. You have to be in Discord with right-wing content creators to be fair and balanced, like Jubilee, and that is great. But I'm not sure if
It's locked.
right-wing
open
audiences. Oh.
Emergency lockdown for this area has been disabled. To restore full functionality, please reboot the main power terminal on the top floor.
There we go. First one down.
Cool. Hacker. Who would have collabed with Luna Oi? No. No, thank you. Maryland should have been the one killing Transphobia. Transphobia is dead in Maryland. Okay? Maryland has the best things, the best people, and the best food. Also, it has a university, just so you know. So it's like, wow. Super exciting. University stuff. Press X to have the best food claim. It has crab cakes. Shockwave gun. An attack unit specialized in front suppression that fires powerful close range shockwaves and makes enemies easier to stagger. It becomes less effective at distance. So it's shotgun basically. I'm not unit specializing in frontal suppression that fires powerful close range shockwaves and makes... Oh.
That one's not that good at long distances.
Yeah, I know. I just read it. Thanks. Thanks.
Look, look! I got it! Be careful!
But it's good at close range, so...
So weird too.
I don't know. Try scanning. Q, there's a terminal.
Ooh. The Maryland flag is transphobic. No pure person of taste would have designed that. That's not true. The Maryland flag is amazing. What the hell are you saying? Like, what is it with people and horrible takes lately? What the hell is happening here?
Emergency lockdown for this area has been disabled.
That's two.
Why no collab with my favorite creators Luna, Oi, and non-compete? I mean, make them contact me and I'll collab with them. There you go. Maryland flag rocks? I know, right? It's amazing. It's the best flag. Do you know the historical significance of that flag? Do you even understand how important historically that flag is?
There.
Do you even know? No idea, and I really want to know. It would ruin my headcanon. Listen. Your headcanon should be that it's the best flag ever. Hacking nodes, yellow, have special effects that trigger when passed through while completing a hack. Passing through multiple nodes of the same type increases effectiveness. These nodes can only be used to limit the number of times.
We can use this to hit harder and beat things faster.
Thanks. We can do it. Have I told you that there's been a big controversy on Twitter, of course, among all the racists because a black woman voiced the little girl in the English version? They're like, it's a white little girl, how can she be voiced by a black woman? Oh god. This is what happens. We don't deserve good things. Ever.
Intruders detected. Please remove them from the premises. Eat us again. I feel like a damn rat in a maze.
It really doesn't like to talk.
Whatever. Let's just get this over with.
This friggin' thing is tough as hell.
It's way stronger than slop.
Really heal.
It's online. Shoot now! Shoot it where it jumped you! Use that one up close.
Thanks, I know. Should have been voiced by Luna Oi. Why? What's with the Luna Oi worship today? What happened? Email. How's it going? Things at the solar plant are in word quiet. Grunts like us show up in the morning and check out what the bots have planned for the day, and then we spend the rest of the shift trying to look busy. Gets you thinking, we're both engineers, but you end up on the front lines of lunar development, and me? Wish I could be out there too.
Bots did all the work, leaving him bored to tears.
True.
Cry me a river.
Are you bored too, Hugh?
Nah, I'm good. Kinda hard to get bored keeping up with your chit-chat.
True. Damn. Women. Warning, anomaly detected. This power plant has entered emergency mode. Cradle power output is currently limited to 35% of standard capacity. Trams and the curatory facilities, it's all good, it's all good. Yo, yo, it's all good, defeated them. Have you heard of an anime called My Hero Academia? It's about heroes and villains. Okay, I'll stop. Oh. Right. If you want me to debate Luna Oi, I will debate Luna Oi. Lucy's bullying me. That's true. I am a big bully. That is my role. It is my destiny. Because I'm DGG brained. I guess. Even though I've never spoken to Destiny in my entire life, we've never exchanged words. She's interesting. I've spoken to many streamers, but Destiny is one streamer that I've never spoken to. An emergency kit that repairs minor damage to your suit. Oh, thanks. We've never exchanged even a single word. I've spoken to Vosh.
Emergency lockdown for all on-site locations has been disabled. Please
Da-da-da-da.
complete a manual reboot of the power plant controller to fully restore operations.
We've been married to him and never spoke.
Now we're
Marriage
ready
is
for
not
more
about
trouble.
talking. Marriage is not about speaking to a person. It's never been, never will be. It's not how any of that works. Keep in mind. Keep in mind, none of that crap works like that.
That's a lot of lip.
That's a lot of stuff, that's true. There's been a lot of weird controversy in every each way about this game, actually. No joke. This game has gone through the paces from all sides. From the right side, from the left side, everybody has critiqued this game. and it's strange. You want my advice? If you want to be happy in life, avoid discourse on games or anything, on any media, and just enjoy it, and you'll be happier. Because having a game with a little girl is apparently weird. Hassan Piker has said so. A Japanese game with a child is creepy automatically. I don't just... Alright. We're back. Also, I want to say to you what I wanted to say earlier, so that you understand. So you discovered me when I was gathering money for my mom? It's not a curse stream, it's just computer overheated. Also, let's see if we are in any danger. Kyiv in 3 days. Do not poke Russian bear because it might die. Explosions in Kyiv region, drone attack. Oh, there have been explosions, I just haven't heard them. Explosions in Kyiv. Oh well. If I haven't... Yeah, it's been nice. This is why I'm not gonna be very mean to President Sunday, okay? He has helped me with my mom. I love how Sunday said the people who are not on the front line are safe. Wait, when did he say that? Okay, when did he say that? He did not say that. He did not say that people who are not on the front line are safe. He did not say that. I don't believe you. I mean, okay, I'm not gonna call my viewers liars. I believe you. When did he say? Did he say that? Come on. Okay, can you timestamp and... Can you... What the fuck? I literally interviewed victims of drones and bombs. That's... Come on. That's not... What? He cannot... That's impossible. He did not say that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that he said that. That has to be a lie. Of some sort. It has to be some form of a... Why is the game so quiet? This has to be some form of a misunderstanding. It's a misunderstanding. I hope. I swear. I swear it has to be a misunderstanding. As the Sidirian being bombed, really? Yeah. I don't believe you. I mean, I do, but that's important. What the fuck? Ah, God. Like, I don't even know what the hell's happening. What the hell happened to that guy? What the hell happened, Mr. President? It's okay, there's no need to be sad because today we have a... Today's the day to celebrate, actually, unironically. Today we actually celebrate. Do you know why? Restore power to the lunar base. Status net. A tactical unit that fires spherical electromagnet net expands on impact on mobilizing enemies within its radius for a short time. Duration varies by target. It's because today we defeated transphobia forever. Forever and ever and ever and ever. Transphobia has been defeated.
You stop him, and I'll catch him. Starting pack.
Nice.
Now it's my turn.
Just you.
No good, huh?
Shoot it where it's weak, you.
You.
Good work.
Ah, okay.
Leave the shooting to me.
Shoot it where it's weak, just you.
Shake it up, kid. It's over. What the heck's going on with the bots here? They all got haywire or what?
I don't think they normally attack humans.
Yeah, it got crazy.
Yeah,
Some of
well-
your... I mean, it is too.
We better get in contact with her.
It's what states do during times of war. Civilian expert councils should overtake the government and all members of Congress and their families drafted. The government is not sending children to the front. What? Wait, he said that the government is sending children to the front? Oh God, President Sunday has no clue about the war in Ukraine. Zero clue, actually. Like, 25-year-olds are not children. What the fuck? Since when are 25-year-olds children? Like, what, have we moved the line of who's a child to up to 25 now? 25-year-old kids? Like, what's the current conscription age in Ukraine? As of April 2026, the minimum conscription and mobilization age in Ukraine is 25 years old. Yeah, 25-year-old kids being sent to the front. Thank you, President Sunday. 25-year-old kids, because that's the minimum age right now. What the fuck? What is even happening? Children. God. What happens when people that have no clue what they're talking about are opening their mouths about a topic? Sad. Yes, I cannot. 25-year-old, basically a kid. Yeah, the United States wanted to pressure Ukraine to lower the limit to 18, but Ukraine refused. Yeah. Also, I've heard that re-establishing the draft in the US is political suicide right now. But yes, that was a hit and a miss when President Sunday said that Ukraine sends children to the front. Jesus Christ. 5 seconds of Google. 5 seconds of Google, literally. Learn about the topic that you're talking about. Like, it's very disappointing that the person that always says that people should read and know what they're talking about, you know, made fun of Destiny for not knowing when Israel was on the map, now basically acts like this on this subject. Oh, your battery is low. The battery is low. My battery is oh so low. Whoa. Device battery 10%. Oh, I have to cool. So how is everybody doing? Like, I should literally just I should talk about these things one by one, shouldn't I? About these misconceptions, about these completely. Also, interestingly enough, evil Ukraine ended up being the one country that actually sanctioned Israel. So, this is so funny. The one country that actually ended up sanctioning Israel is Ukraine. You cannot make this up. You just cannot. No matter how you try, you cannot make this up. It's very funny. Wouldn't you say? Don't you think that it's funny? I took a long nap and now I feel hyper. Maya Mayor, you feel hyper? You wanna debate me? Is that it? Should I debate people? Do you think I should debate people? I should debate Alec Gunther. Alec Gunther. Ooh.
Walkers are pretty crazy. From handling small stuff to knocking out big tasks, they got it covered.
There are no kids here, but if there were, they could probably handle them too. And with Edith managing the lot, they're always there when you need them.
Man, what should we do? It's just so much easier to let the walkers handle it.
Well, I mean, there's still plenty of work that only a human can do. Like thinking up new innovations or new business ventures to explore. But anyway, enough slacking. Time to get back to crunching those lab
Oh
results.
God, I've heard enough fucking. I'm sorry, my head is in the gutter. Enough fucking. Jesus Christ. That's so horrible.
Walkers are pretty crazy. From handling small
Enough
stuff to
fucking.
knocking out big tasks.
There's anything of substance inside the gun
There are
to
no
do
kids
the gun
here,
to
but if
debate.
there were, they could probably handle them too.
Alec Gunter? I don't know. I don't think we disagree on anything. It has come to my attention that a simple mistake I made got caught on hologram. Now the recording is being spread around to Crady. I enjoy my work, but it doesn't. Okay, I'm gonna read this again in the full version of the game. Right now we're just enjoying the demo. Someone made a mistake and was shamed for it. That's the line. How do you like this game, by the way? How do you like the game?
Online. This will make it easier to hit things harder.
Seems fun, right? It does seem fun. Not as fun as Resident Evil 6 with Dr. Żąs, but fun.
No one here either. Damn. I gotta hurry and contact Earth.
Earth. The key to living on the moon and advancing research and development was ensuring access to stable power supply. It's fair to say that the advanced systems in place at our solar power plant have been the backbone for supporting Delphi's development and expansion at the cradle. Delphi Corporation. Don't worry, once we finish the demo, we're gonna be talking about Transphobia being defeated. Shocking development. The thing that everybody knew has been confirmed officially via a study, because we totally needed a study to confirm the thing that everybody knew, except for transphobes, of course. The thing is that the transphobes are just gonna reject the study anyway, but we're gonna check it out. But I guarantee you, the transphobes are just gonna reject the evidence,
Maybe
but
there's an elevator up ahead.
they don't care. They don't care for the evidence. They're not one piece of evidence away from embracing trans rights.
That's a lot of lip.
That's not happening. This is a very naive way of... But you know what? We're gonna look at the evidence anyway. Because that's what we do.
Intruders detected. Please remove them from the premises.
Something's aiming at us. Look, look. Let's hurt that.
Cool.
Get ready.
Cool. Let's get him.
I'll hack the list if you're ready. Are we there yet?
We're not there yet.
Starting to feel a bit lost.
We're not there yet.
We can restore the power with that terminal.
Oh, finally.
Finally. If only you could, you know, sprint. But that's not the game that you in which you can. That's not one of those sprint games, I suppose. It's one of those. But it feels good. The controls feel good. This game feels kind of good. This has a good feel to it.
Lockdown disengaged. Reconnecting primary power.
What's up?
Energy levels.
This reminds me of
30%.
Dead Space,
40%.
Reconnecting Power, which I'm in the middle of in Dead Space as well.
50%. 60%.
Warning. Unauthorized access detected. Severing primary connection.
Boss fight?
This is Edith. Unregistered guests are forbidden from this area. Initializing sector guard protocol. Scanning. Targets identified. Neutralizing threats.
Neutralize? Us?
Looks like we're gonna have to fight our way through. Get ready.
We're fighting a Metal Gear. God. Why are we fighting a Metal Gear?
Never seen it before.
No, it's not one of your pot buddies, then I guess we can just go in blasting. How you like this?
Be careful.
Where'd they get all those missiles?
They were made with
Lucky us, right?
Here it comes again.
Come on, enough already.
Your healing is so...
On it. Hugh, watch out!
Hey, who are you pushing around? It's okay. We'll get another shot. Now that.
Hugh.
Hello, Philippogus.
Come on, enough already.
How are you? How are you doing? Remember, we're here to dispel negative propaganda about Ukraine.
Shake it up, kid.
I'm about to die. Is there a restart? How is everybody doing? Don't worry, about to give you the good stuff soon.
The sector guard looks strong. Vigor said he'd be in charge of protecting the master controls. But those tanks on his back look vulnerable.
I'll see if I can find.
I am not good at dodging missiles.
We'll need to make one.
Intruders detected.
Which is not good because we are being attacked by missiles. Is it over? Is the missile threat over? Oh yeah, it's over. The city is not in danger anymore. Thank goodness. The missile threat has been... You have been delivered.
Please remove them from the premises.
Look out for its targeting sensor. Hacking. Be careful.
Nope.
Boom. Okay, let's do this.
There. Charging again.
Stubborn old junk. Shake it up, kid. Oh. Good work.
Move, you. Stay away from the red circle.
Try it. Time to dance.
Shoot it where you.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Look out.
There should be something to heal with.
Charging again.
Stubborn old junk.
Yeah, stubborn. Whoa.
Unlock. Move, you. You. Close in on him. Now's your chance.
Unleash your total shock. Powerful follow-up attack when near down enemy. Press RT near down enemy.
Take this.
Good. Oh.
Dirty bastard.
You. Let me try. Overdrive protocol initiated.
Overdrive protocol. When the hacking gauge fails, Diana's ability Overdrive protocol can be activated. When used, it opens nearby enemies, immobilizes them briefly, and deals damage. The gauge fails by hacking. Press L plus R when the hacking gauge is full to activate. We're doing well, actually, for once. Also remember, lucyhaza.org/live, and you can donate or subscribe to help me in life.
Whoa! Where did that come from?
I think it really did something.
Yeah, not bad.
Careful. Look.
Get some.
Close in on him. Now's your chance.
Die.
We're so close. Just a little bit more.
All right, time to kick this bucket.
Energy levels restored.
Oh, the enemy is defeated. We're about to beat the demo, I bet.
Yeah, baby. We did it. This is how we say good job.
Another game in which people don't know what a high five is. Destroying my hand, are you trying to? Alright.
All right. Time's up, kiddo. Show me what you were working on.
Okay. Here, take a look.
Great at hacking, horrible at drawing. The sister refuses though. That's not true. Here you go. I did it. I high-fived you just now. See? You cannot say that I do not listen to the requests of my viewers. I love my viewers. Thank you for playing this demo. Alright, we played the demo. That was great. You can always donate so that I can not really buy this game, but I can pay rent. My goodness. Okay. Oh, new ability, fast move unlocked. Does just before an enemy attack to briefly slow time and create an opening. Oh wow. New weapon, charge piercer, and whoa, alright. I guess exit. Oh, outfit. I don't know what changed. Anyway, we're exiting the game, and we're now disconnecting the capture card so that the computer will not overheat. And now we can defeat transphobia once and for all. How does that sound? Sounds good to me. Defeating transphobia sounds good to me. Transphobia robots in disguise. No, don't even try to diss Transformers like this, like comparing them to Transphobia. Don't even, okay?
You.
Me? Don't even try to be like that. It's not fair. It's not fair to even try. Okay, let's go. There's no time for nonsense, okay? Nonsense time is up. It's over. Browser capture, browser. What do we have here? It is with my utmost pleasure that transphobia has been defeated. Hold on, where's the person that sent me this? I'm such a professional streamer. Instagram. Instagram has informed me, it is on Instagram's best authority, that in fact transphobia has been completely demolished. Pink news. Ooh, pink news. That sounds promising. Alright, let's go. I'm gonna show you what's on, what I can see. And you're gonna be excited. I'm gonna show you and you're gonna be excited by it. Instagram. So it is my greatest pleasure, greatest pleasure. Okay, it is my honor and pleasure to announce by Pink News that in fact transphobia has been defeated. A new study has debunked the right-wing argument that most trans children eventually grow out of identifying as trans. There's no such thing as identifying as trans, but I can forgive the language. I can forgive the language because transphobia has been defeated. But wow, whoop-de-doo. Newsflash. The thing that everybody knew has been confirmed. The fact that every person with two brain cells to rub together knew. What's the next study gonna be? That people don't grow out of being gay? Newsflash. New study from Florida has told us that gay people in fact don't grow out of being gay. Whoa. The study titled Desistance, a multi-method review of the literature on gender identity, variability in transgender and gender diverse youth, comes from researchers from Virginia Commonwealth University. Universities are cool. Support universities. Desistance refers to the process of people who previously identified as trans during their childhood reverting back to identifying as cisgender following puberty. There's no such thing as identifying as cisgender or as trans. Okay, you identify as a given gender, but you are trans. I don't like this language already. I'm purely testing this article. Whatever, the point is that you don't grow out of being trans. That's the whole point. Okay? A trans woman does not identify as trans. A trans woman identifies as a woman. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? Does any of that make any sense to you? Or am I just speaking out of my ass? All right then. The study, which was published in Scientific Journal Psychology of Sexual Orientation and Gender Diversity, comes in response to a 2016 blog post that claimed that 60% to 90% of youth presenting for care desist from a transgender identity, quote unquote. However, that claim has now been debunked through statistical analysis of scientific. I hate that you actually needed scientific research for that. I resent that. I resent that the most obvious thing in the world, that if people are trans, they don't just grow out of it, because it's not just a fab. Okay, it's not just some trend, it's just some phase. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but you know what? Whatever. Now we have actual evidence. Now we have actual evidence that transphobes will ignore or say that it's woke research or biased or whatever. Phys.org reported on 27 April VCU researchers analyzed 11 different studies that were referenced in the controversial blog post, as well as 5 other studies that were published more recently. The researchers found that desistance could be estimated to be as low as 0% desistance, to as high as 100%, depending on how the study's data were interpreted. Oh, that's cool. Desistance of between 0 and 100%, the solid. I've never seen a more solid thing in my life. They also concluded that rates of persistence of transgender identity could also be within the same percentage range, depending on the interpretation of the data. It was also noted that many of the studies cited by the 2016 blog post were conducted before 1990 on small sample sizes. Again, what a shock. Catherine Wall, PhD Assistant Professor of Psychology in the College of Humanities and Sciences and the study's lead author, said, "We should rely on accuracy with our science, and we should rely on accurate science to guide legislation." Dr. Wall continued, "We were particularly interested in examining this idea of the concept of trans identity desistance because it's a number that has been bandied about for years as if it's 100% accurate, and we wanted to take a deeper look, especially because it's currently being used for things like legislation and bans of best practice gender affirming care in 26 states." Okay, I want to actually find this study. Shall we Google the study? Do you want me to Google the study? Write in the chat if we want to take a look at the study. What do you say? Yay or nay for looking up the study? I feel like the chat has abandoned me. I feel like once I don't do video games, the chat has completely abandoned me. Trans rights? No, more like trans wrongs or something like that. Let me check. Let me check. Gay. Gay. Is that really the comment? Is that really the only comment that I'm gonna get? Gay. Is nobody celebrating the fact that transphobia has been defeated? Really? Nobody's, that just like no celebration? Vladimir, are you calling us all transphobes or something? Yes. This is a lefty channel. Of course I'm calling you all transphobes. What do you mean? What else would I call you? I mean, I could call you bigots also, right? Hold on. I could call you all bigots, but that would be low-hanging fruit or something. Virginia study on desistance of trans youth. 2 days ago, transgender youth research, VCU News. Meta-analysis. Oh God. Common claim that most transgender youth renounce that identity is not supported by statistics. VCU research finds. It's incredible. Incredible stuff. Hold on. Seems like this chat is set to there you go. This argument that studies how transgender youth desist from that identity in an average. Evolving science influences data. Many of the studies listed in 2016, deeper data analysis, a far from stable data set. But where's the study itself? Can I find the study? Where is the study? I want to see. I want to see the meta-analysis. Whatever, it's whatever. I don't need the study. I trust all the articles blindly. Okay? I don't need the study. We've spent a lot of time on this. The point is that transphobia has been defeated, finally. Oh my God, I've been waiting for years. The transphobes have been making an argument that, well, first of all, transphobes say that trans children don't even exist. So that's the first argument. Trans children don't exist. There's no such thing as a trans child. When you find a trans child, that just means that they've been groomed by school, parents, evil parents, immigrants, or minorities. Okay, that's basically what happens when you have trans children. But even if you have trans children, which they don't exist, but if you have them, then they grow out of it. So those are two layers of argumentation that I usually meet with. There's no such thing as trans children, but even if they somehow appear in the wild, they desist. Okay, they say, I grew out of this phase of being trans. And this study debunks this notion, which I'm glad finally. You can present this as evidence. The next time somebody tells you that everybody grows out of being trans, you can say, actually, no, dumbass, they don't. Lucy, in an hour, want to read more? I always want to read more. I always want to read more. There's not a moment that I don't want to read more. Hold on. Let's look at some news in the meantime. In the meantime, before we go back to learning how to treat addiction through replacement therapy, we're gonna do some news. Apart from the fact that transphobia has been defeated. Envy, did you know that transphobia has been defeated by Virginia of all places? Virginia has defeated transphobia once and for all, finally, forever. There will be no transphobia anymore. Life will become so boring for trans people that trans people will be like, oh, I miss transphobia. Things were more interesting when transphobia was around. We lived on the edge back then. And now, boring. Life has become boring. Trump's NATO approach was a punch in the nose for us allies, ex-Pentagon official says. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Jim Townsend, a former U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for European and NATO policy, told TVP World that Trump's confrontational style marked a sharp departure from the traditionally cautious tone of transatlantic relations. It really took Donald Trump to say in a rather rude way that the gloves were off, Townsend said, adding that while he believes that pressure was effective in pushing allies to spend more on defense, you don't punch allies. I mean, that depends. Depends on allies, depends on what kind of relationship you're with your allies. If you're in some weird BDSM thing with your allies, then you sometimes end up punching them a bit. Shaky U.S. commitment. Townsend said Trump's transactional view of alliances has fueled concerns in Europe about the reliability of U.S. security guarantees. I mean, yeah, since 2025, we have had these concerns, actually. The concerns have been very real, and the concerns have been, I don't know, they have been very active. I understand people thinking that maybe the commitment that the US has always had might be shaky, he said, pointing to rhetoric suggesting Washington could in practice link its defense commitments to financial contributions by allies. Those concerns come amid a broader debate over NATO's future as European leaders weigh how to respond to what many sees as a more unpredictable US foreign policy. Oh, well. NATO exit unlikely, but risky. While Trump has repeatedly floated the idea of a role, let's watch a video on this actually.
You're watching TVP World. I'm
Thank
Alex
you.
Cadye. We're now in Washington, D.C. The reason for our coverage here is King Charles III visiting, and now officially that is just a state visit to mark the 250-year anniversary of America.
This is what happens. This is what's done with allies. But with Putin, you shake hands and you have romantic phone calls every single week. What a world that we live in. What a weird, weird world. Upside down reality that we have come to inhabit.
American independence. Behind the scenes, it's seen as a bit of a diplomatic Hail Mary to see if that strained US-European relationship can be fixed. So I wanted to talk to Jim Townsend.
I don't think it can. I honestly don't think it can. It would require some kind of a lobotomy on Trump, that he would have to diametrically just change his behavior, completely shift course. I don't think the Trump-European relation, I don't think the US-European relations are gonna heal until Trump's in office. That's my prediction. Or people are gonna just pretend that the relations have been fixed, but they're not gonna be fixed. Ademir says, Transphobia has been defeated, you say? Oh, okay, Lucy, here's my favorite Warhammer content creator, Artcast, made another transphobic... Oh, no way. I'm gonna watch it after talking about this.
Who is with us here, who's welcomed us in his home very generously. You were a Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense in the United States for 8 years, responsible for Europe and NATO. A lot has changed, a lot has been said. This Hail Mary, as we're seeing it from King Charles, who's kind of being sent here to try and fix the...
I've watched the whole speech, by the way. I've listened to the whole speech. It was glorious. A lot of jabs, a lot of little hints. Straight up, we should defend Ukraine, whatever. I don't think Trump's gonna listen to it. Trump's just gonna be happy that he was in the presence of a king or something.
Fallout from Hormuz. Does the transatlantic relationship need to be fixed, number one? And can it?
It does, but it won't.
Well, I mean, that's great questions. And I have to say that question comes up every year for the past 25 or 30 years. What is the special relationship? Is it there? Are we having problems? And I think...
yeah, we are. Under Trump, that's an understatement, considering how he threatened Greenland, how... This is just... I think there's more than just trouble.
It's hard to describe the special relationship because it's not a thing. I will say that among the American people...
Oh, I mean, I will admit that it's hard to describe something that's not a thing, yeah. I have to tacitly agree. It is indeed difficult to describe something that is not a thing.
There is a special relationship.
Wait, there is? So is there not? You just said that it was not a thing.
The royal family and all that happens there is very big among the American people. When there are marriages and funerals, everyone stays up and they watch these things. So that is frankly, that's the core of the special relationship. Mm-hmm. In Washington, the special relationship rises and falls depending on the politicians and the personalities. In the military, there is a special relationship because we have worked closely with the Brits on in good times and bad all over the world. In terms of military conflict, where we are shoulder to shoulder, and that continues. No matter the politics, that is there. And so what we're seeing right now is some political issues going on, maybe on the U.S. side, some misunderstanding.
Very diplomatic. I like it. I like politicians can be so diplomatic.
Of what the special relationship is all about and what it doesn't do. And so, again, this is something that I hope the king is able to talk to Trump and to get him to understand just how the special...
I doubt it. I don't think... The king is not a despot and the king has no real power. I don't think the king has any sway over Trump, really. I don't think so. I doubt it.
Special relationship works. But in terms of the American people, it's solid. And it will be long-lasting, I'm certain of that.
It's not just the UK. You know, we've seen the issues with Greenland, we've seen the issues more recently with Hormuz, and President Trump referring to NATO as a paper tiger. You spent a very long time making sure it wasn't.
The United States feels like a paper tiger right about now, considering how it's dealing with Iran.
making sure that European allies were stepping up.
Bam, got him.
Is this a huge sea change, this kind of Trump posturing and threatening of allies? Or does that actually hide something that's been going on? It's just wrapped in a slightly more gold-plated Trump wrap?
Everybody really think that Trump's this chess player, this super genius, does this move, that move. It all has a meaning. It all has a plan behind it. Well, it just feels like blind flailing. Hey, do you think there's this really complicated scheme behind the madness of Donald Trump's idiotic actions?
Well, it's been wrapped in diplomatic talk and politeness since 1990 in terms of burden sharing, in terms of the U.S.-European relationship, things at NATO. Since the end of the Cold War, there's been a peace dividend that the U.S. and Europe all have cashed in. And so as the years went on, we were distracted by the war on terror. We had to deal with the Balkan crisis, of course, in the 1990s. There's a lot of things that took our eyes off the ball in terms of military capability. And pretty soon, there wasn't the political will in a lot of allied countries
I
particularly.
mean, the United States has been the most powerful country military-wise. Europe needs to step up its game because it feels like Europe is getting blindsided by the fact that the United States is diverting weapons that it had sold to Europe. They say, we cannot give you the weapons that we've sold you because we need them in Iran. This is what happens when you depend on one source to buy weapons from, like the United States. You end up with pants down and nothing to show for it. The European Union has to develop its own weapons industry, or else this will happen time and time again when the United States will just decide, oh yeah, we're not going to give you those weapons. We're just going to use them for ourselves. We need them in our war now. Thank you for the money, European Union. Thank you, suckers, for buying weapons from us. Silly.
To go and to raise more in terms of defense spending. At NATO, my job there was talking to the allies about spending more. We've got to do better. We don't know what's around the pike. And of course, they said, look, we understand that. But look at Russia. They're hardly a threat. This is in the 1990s. We're enlarging NATO. How can I go to my prime minister and say, we need to spend more on defense? And he'll say, why? And I don't have an answer for that, which is true. I mean, good housekeeping means spending more on defense, no matter if times are peaceful. But that's just politically doesn't work. So it really took Donald Trump, I think, to step in and say, and say in a rather rude way, I have to say. I mean, the gloves were off. It wasn't Jim Townsend saying, come on, guys. He came in with a punch in the nose. That doesn't sit well.
Yeah, and now the European-US relations are horrible. Trump treats his allies as enemies and enemies as allies. He has a phone call with Putin every single week or something when they whisper words, very affectionate words.
With a lot of us, because you don't punch allies. But that's his style. And he came in, and it took both that as well as Putin going into Ukraine, particularly in 2022, showing that he was a threat and that he was building up his military over the long term to be a long-term threat. So you couple that with Trump saying, look, we're out of NATO, we're going to leave, you're not doing enough, with the idea that Europe might have to take this on its own in terms of deterring Russia and Europe. That's what got things really busy, as well as this idea of we're going to stand up to Trump. He can't treat us this way. We're going to do this on our own, and we're going to stand on our own feet. And we're going to break the dependency on the United States in terms of the military side.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. It will take some time for Europe to be able to develop its base, to develop its military potential. Things like that will not happen overnight.
And that's what's happening right now.
I'll come back to the
Not so simple. Not so simple in the slightest.
Of European build-up, but help us from the other side of the pond navigate Trump. How do you know?
I don't think Trump is navigatable. I don't think he is as rational as people would like to, as people would pray to be the case.
this is actually just bluster. He's playing a game. He's kind of negotiating via Twitter. And actually, he feels like, I do want to gas.
Actually, not even via Twitter. He's negotiating via Troop Social.
There are some red lines where he has been consistent. How do you tell? How can you tell if it's actually, just bluster and tactics, or is there really a risk of the United States kind of, we're out, we're done, we're not interested in doing this anymore?
Well, it's impossible to tell. And I think all of us...
because Trump is very unpredictable, because Trump is not this rational actor.
Realize whether it's negotiations with Iran or with Russia or it's domestic things, you can't tell. He's all tactics. He's all negotiating strategy.
No, he's not. Fuck me, man. Yeah, Trump is just brilliant, genius. He's all No, he's not. No, he's not. That's a huge mistake that people make. To assume that he is just he's all tactics. Yes, yeah, it's all according to plan. All according to Keikaku. This is, come on. Come on. Give me a break. Yeah, he's doing so well. All of his plans are giving so much dividend. Wow.
And I think in looking at his rhetoric and what he says and how he says it, and what you think he's trying to drive at, then
I really like the term that I've heard from our favorite content creator. Sane washing. Trump is being sane washed to an incredible degree.
You can recognize the tactics, the negotiating style, and you can say, well,
you can recognize the tactics. Yeah. If you can recognize the tactics, then why do you say that it's so unpredictable? Why can't you answer the question? If you can recognize the tactics. If you recognize the tactics, then you should be able to predict what he'll do. Oh, you can recognize the tactics.
Well, this is bluster, or this is negotiating tactics. He's building up a crisis and then he's going to solve it. But you...
Well, the problem is that so far we've not seen the solving. The solving bit has not been delivered. What the fuck? Oh my goodness. It's all tactics. He's creating a crisis, he's solving it.
Don't know for sure. Because he's mercurial and he's unpredictable.
Thank you, finally. Oh my goodness.
And he might very well get really upset about something, like with the Straits. And
like a child.
Say to the alliance in a wrong-headed way, but he would say, NATO wasn't with me, or you all weren't with me when I asked for it, and so I'm leaving. And he might actually, say that. And he might turn to his cabinet and to the Secretary of Defense and the military and say, we're out of NATO. That would be a huge lift, because it's not just turning off the lights and loading up a moving van. There's a lot that comes with that. It's never been done before, but I know enough about NATO and the U.S. engagement there where it's hard. So that's the problem, is you don't know when he's bluffing, when he's using tactics, or if he is really upset and he's going to do it.
He's really upset, god damn. They're pampering Trump like he's some kind of a child. They're gonna throw out the toys, like, flip the table and just leave. He's gonna just leave.
And then if you've misjudged, you could find yourself on the losing end.
What about Greenland? Is that a real threat?
I think Greenland was a real threat. I've been told by friends in the Pentagon that look, there were plans and there were people talking about this. That this isn't something that was just happening in the hothouse of the White House. That this was something that they were having to deal with, and so I think it was a real threat. I don't think it was something that was widely supported anywhere. I think there were staffers.
The insanity of our current world cannot be underestimated by any means. It just cannot be underestimated just how insane our current reality is when a pampered lunatic child narcissist is at the helm of the country and when people analyze what he does, are basically like, I don't know, maybe it's tactics, maybe it's maybe it's just a bluff, or maybe he's just really, really angry. And who knows what he'll do? Who knows what he'll do when he throws a tantrum? Maybe he'll just decide to leave. Maybe he won't.
Who had to come up with a plan, and probably their heart wasn't in it. And maybe they was even talking to the Danes behind the scenes, going, stay cool, let us handle this. I'm hoping that was the case. So yes.
Hoping. Hopium.
That was a real thing. And I think Mark Rutte, the NATO Secretary General, knew how to handle this in terms of assuring the president that, look, NATO's got this. We're going to have an Arctic strategy. We're going to be exercising in the Arctic. The U.S. is going to be part of this. Denmark and the Greenland Home Rule are with us on this, and was able to kind of cool things down a bit. But that doesn't mean it's gone away. And that doesn't mean that something might trigger him. And that's what I think we worry about most of all, is what might trigger him to make a decision, to set in motion something that, at the end of the day, you don't want to have done.
I wonder how that feels on a personal note for you. You worked with Denmark, you worked with Greenland specifically.
Right, absolutely.
What is gonna trigger our president? Oh no. Oh no.
They were never going to say no if the US wanted to work with them to bolster defenses on Greenland. The Danes have been the most transatlantic...
The US has already been working... Whatever, this is just insane.
American ally, probably anywhere in Europe. Perhaps some other countries would debate that. You work with them. How do you then see the treatment of the Greenlanders and of the Danes from your president?
Well, I mean, it was shameful, in a word. All of us on the outside, as much as we could, were trying to make the case publicly that we're dealing with very close allies, including Greenland, part of this, Greenland Home Rule, that we have an agreement with them, that we will be in charge of their defense, and that we will come and we will do what we need to do to make sure they're protected. We've been doing that since 1952. We've never had a problem with that. We've been good stewards. We have a base there right now, and we have been good. We have been good stewards of what they've allowed us to do. We have been good citizens. We've helped Greenland out wherever we could, and Denmark has been part of the team. And when there were problems, we could always work them out. And so the idea that we have to bully them and threaten them is just distasteful. Any ally, but particularly Denmark and Greenland. And I think that really upset not just Americans, but it upset Europeans too. How could the United States be doing this to one of our fellow allies? And of course, the European allies.
When there's a narcissistic lunatic at the helm of the country, what do you even expect? What did you expect? Why did people vote for this guy? I'm so disappointed in Americans. I am so disappointed that such a childish loon has been just elected as the head of the...
Allies put their arms around Greenland and Denmark and said, hands off. And so the idea that we had to, that the Europeans had to do that can only make Putin happy. Because there he's going to see NATO beginning to split apart, and he hasn't even had to lift a finger.
Great.
Speaking of making Vladimir Putin happy, the Polish Prime Minister made a point a few days ago saying that he's no longer sure if the United States are loyal to Europe's defense.
They're not. They're not.
To happen, would the US
We're screwed.
help?
No, they wouldn't.
Well, that question is, it's an amazing...
Well, a good question. You know what? Maybe it's a bluff. Maybe it's strategy. Maybe it's Trump tactics. Or maybe something in Europe will trigger Donald and he just will decide not to help. Such is the nature of dealing with Trump. Unless you're Vladimir Putin, then it's basically steel-clad guarantees. You should change your name to Vladimir.
Question.
Oh wait, no, that's not enough. I forgot. Zelensky does not get this treatment. Whoops.
Given what we have always said in the past and our position, what the U.S. has always said is, of course, we will be there. We have troops in Europe to make sure that we can be there fast. We exercise, we train.
Yeah, Trump wanted to withdraw these troops, so.
We help run NATO. We make sure all the allies can come together, and we will lead them to handle whatever the issue comes our way. Afghanistan is a great example of that. Of course, 9/11, when Article 5 was invoked, for the only time it was to help the United States, and in fact the allies sent the NATO AWACS in and did other things as well. So it's been proven. And
now the United States is going to return the favor by invading Greenland.
That question, unfortunately, is one that's being asked, not just by Tusk, but by lots of allies.
Good question.
I refuse to say that maybe we'll think about it. I understand realistically that the president might very well say something along those lines, because he has said that. He has said, well, if you've paid up, we'll help out, or these other things.
No. That's not what he said. That's not what the president said. Actually, he did not say, if you'll pay up, we'll help out. No, he said, if you will not pay out, we will let Russia do whatever it wants, whatever the fuck it wants. That is what he said. He did not say, if you pay, we will help you out. He said something quite different. But you know, potato, tortilla, it's all the same.
In the Gulf, and I'm not going to be there for you. I mean, that kind of thing. So I understand people thinking that maybe that commitment that the U.S. has always had might be shaky. But I just can't bring...
You don't say Trump, an unpredictable ally. You don't say...
myself today to say that is the case. I think if there's trouble, we're going to be there.
Even with his kind of cozy relationship with President Putin?
Yeah.
Well, I think he might say, well, look, I'm going to pick up the phone and call Putin first and see if I can turn this off, you know.
Cue awkward laughter.
He might try something along those lines. But I think right now, NATO in the United States is very popular. NATO in the U.S. Senate and in the House, that's run by Republicans.
What does that matter?
It's very popular.
Okay.
So it's something that would be very
like
messy for the president to do at a time that we've got the midterms.
Right? Yeah, the question is that he just follows his whims. He doesn't care about the messes that he creates. He doesn't care if it's messy. The war in Iran is extremely messy. Did he care? Did he care that it would be messy? No, he did not, and he did it anyway. So what does that matter? What is messy and what is not messy? He does not care about such things. He does not care.
Right around the corner, where the president's party is going to be reelected to the House and the Senate, maybe or maybe not. But it's a bad time to have a messy political issue over something like NATO.
What, as opposed to the war in Iran, which is not messy at all and does not affect his midterms at all? Spoilers, yes, it does in a massive way, actually, affect the midterms, and it's messy. So when has that stopped Trump before? Things being messy. Yeah.
That in fact is supported by the American people and in the Congress. The American people and the Congress have trouble with burden sharing. The allies are doing something about that.
Insanity. Don't worry, Vladimir. We'll be building drones together. Poland and Ukraine. We're gonna weather the storm or something. Okay, I'm not gonna be talking about this now. We're gonna be talking about this later.
I'm not sure how well the American people know that. I know that because
I don't even know what the American people know. The American people don't seem to know much. The American people don't seem to know that you should not vote in a lunatic to the White House, but too late now. Too late to cry about it.
I track it every day, and a lot in the Congress know that too. But I think it is something that because of that popularity within the United States, that will be something that will keep, whether it's Trump or whether it's the next president of the United States on the beam
J.D. Vance.
when it comes to NATO. I know those could
Or Marco. Marco's going to be the next president.
be listening right now that might say, Jim, you're naive. And I understand that. But at the same time, I'm going to try to keep this heartbeat.
I don't think Jim's naive. I think Jim's in denial outright. Just straight up in denial for reality. That's what Jim is. Jim's not naive.
Going, because I think that once we have better times ahead, that we'll come back in another way. It's going to be different relationships. Times call for generational change, and these issues call for things to be a little bit different in the
Jim's in
future than they've
denial.
been in the past in terms of NATO and the U.S. engagement and Europe's role, and that's okay too. But I'm not ready right now to say that, yeah, you'll have to hedge because you don't know where the United States might be.
There's still a need and a push from the United States to Europe saying you've got to step up, you've got to spend more. There's also a push within Europe asking the question whether or not we could or should still be buying American.
Right.
How far off? What's the timeline for Europe to be able to kind of stand on its own 2 feet? Maybe not as an equal kind of military power to the United States, but one that could do it alone if it had to against Russia, for example. And is there a risk that Washington goes, we're out, before Europe is ready?
Well, that's a great question, and of course, it's a link to the one before, and I think where we are headed now, in terms of the U.S.
Disaster?
relationship with Europe
Is
and
it
the U.S.
disaster?
engagement in NATO, is the beginning of a transition, of where there is going to be more Europe in NATO, and what that means is more European forces, more European capability, more European political decision-making and leadership, and less by the United States. That will happen over time. If it's done correctly, there will be a transition that will take place probably may take 10 or
Phasing out
15
United
years in
States.
terms of the capabilities, buying the equipment, doing the training, building the forces. If we try to have something that comes, up to the point where
Building up an entire industry that has to be unified across the board in Europe.
it's sufficient to deter the Russians. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to duplicate what the United States does. This is not the U.S. way of war. This is the European way of war. And it doesn't have to be a carbon copy. And it's already
Thanks.
underway. NATO is already beginning to adapt itself to have more Europeans in decision-making roles. The U.S. is, I think, over the next number of months, is probably going to withdraw some forces from Europe. In one guise or another. I mean, they've been talking about this and hinting at this at the appropriate time. I think they will. Europe has already started in a big way, to buy more, to train more, to beginning conscripts in some.
Shouldn't be buying more, it should be producing more. Europe should not be buying more, especially not from the United States that is diverting weapons from Europe right now.
Countries. Germany is doing an incredible job leading the pack in terms of rearming. So this is already underway. We're running into logistics problems in terms of buying things.
I thought Poland was leading the pack.
Because the European defense industry hasn't scaled up enough, nor does it produce the kinds of things the U.S. has produced in the past, such as Patriot missiles and this type of thing. So there is work that's got to be done on the defense industry side between the United States and Europe to have a cooperative relationship.
I mean, no. Europe has to do its best to be independent of the United States, because the United States will screw over Europe. Like, building a dependency here would be a huge mistake. A fatal mistake, I would even say.
Between those industries, so that the European industry can do more in terms of getting their.
It would be a very lethal mistake to try to connect in any way the European industry with American one, to make it dependent.
The European nations ready for this transition. So in terms of a timeline, I think in the short term, next 5 years, there's still going to be a dependency on the United States. I think after 5 years, as we go from 5 years to 15 years, increasingly you'll see the European nations buying the thing.
This dependence has to be severed. That it just has to.
and doing the training and the planning and the things that need to be in place to get Europe so that they can stand on their own feet, not be dependent on the United States, and be more of an equal partner. That's what I think is really important. So there's not this subservient thing where there's a dependency on the United States for equipment, for ammunition.
Yeah, what happens when the United States diverts those things, as is happening now?
Type of thing, that instead we've got something more equal. And that will take some time, but we've started.
And we will keep this conversation going as that continues. Jim Townsend, thank you so much for speaking to us on TVP World.
You're very welcome.
Thanks. So,
and thank you for watching.
We've learned that things are not good. A lunatic is in the White House, and Europe has to adapt somehow. Thanks. So we're gonna watch Vladimir's video. Vladimir, we're gonna watch your video because you always give me good videos to watch. You have gained my trust over the, I don't want to say years, but you have built my trust, basically. You've gained my trust. So I'm gonna just tell you that let's do this. Just let's do this. Let's not dilly-dally. I don't think there's time for that. Hello, very lovely, beautiful, sexy community people. I'm gonna be watching this. But in the meantime, I need to eat something.
Trans activists are threatening to.
Oh no, the Ark. It's the Ark. Wait, hold on. Is this Ark Warhammer or whatever the hell? Has he rebranded? I think this is Ark Warhammer. I think he was forced to rebrand because I'm pretty sure that he was told not to use the Warhammer name by Games Workshop. Yeah, I think they told him. So I'm gonna put on some food. Because I'm hungry. Don't mistake me with the country hungry. And I'm gonna be back. Minutes. I set it to 3 minutes, and then we're gonna eat. How's everybody? The chat is so quiet. I don't like it when the chat is so quiet. Feels like nobody's here. And I know that somebody is here. Make yourselves known. Maya Mayor. Simon. People. Workshop. The Games Workshop, they broke up with him. Yes, yeah, exactly. Felt familiar. I was like, is this the same creator? Is this a different creator? Same guy, different guy. So we're gonna wait for the food to get warm. We're gonna make ourselves comfortable. And we're gonna watch. I'm gonna eat steak. Gonna eat steak and watch our favorite content creator, Warhammer Arccast. Transphobia is in fashion. Hello, mostly software. Trans agenda. Brush teeth, finish laundry, Make bed right report to George Soros. I did the laundry. I still have to brush my teeth. I haven't made the bed, but you know, I'm streaming right now, but I did the laundry. I did the most important thing. Also, I'm cooking some steak. Hello, Mostly Software. Also, later we're gonna be reading more about addiction. Food's ready. Food's ready. Food's ready. Food's ready, and I'm ready to take the steak. One moment. Be right back. Also, hachapuri. Hachapuri. Been waiting for this. We've been waiting for this. On this plate is a steak. Because there's no way I'm gonna be watching this on an empty stomach. I cannot stomach this on an empty stomach. Get it? It's not something that I'm willing to stomach on an empty stomach. Lucy, I did a homemade tofu chili con Karen with nice, very nice Zoshilix. I'm eating steak and hachapuri. What a combo. Okay, let's watch this, lunatic. Remember, keep in mind while we're watching this video that transphobia has been already defeated today by Virginia. Thank God for Virginia.
Trans activists are threatening to burn down a school full of children because they...
Oh my God. The accent. Oh my God. The fake ass accent. I already forgot about it. The children are being threatened by trans activists. The children are being threatened by those horrid trans activists. Come on, dude. Come on. Did you make those sandwiches while sporting a fake-ass accent like Ark Warhammer here?
They are not allowed to enter the girls' bathrooms.
Bathrooms.
In other words, it is a day ending in Y. Though, despite the puzzling absurdity of all of this, there is, of course, an internal logic at play here. A reason for why
this is happening. The interior lunacy of this happening. Mostly Software says, I once did a temp job and pretended to have a Kentucky accent for a day. Zoshilix says, hell no, my tongue makes it now impossible for me to roll my R's. I used to be unable to say R. You want some Lucy lore? When I was a child, I was unable to pronounce the letter R. It was physically impossible for me. And I went to special therapy. No matter how hard I tried, the best I could muster was a limp. No matter how hard I tried, I could not pronounce the letter R. And finally, with a lot of help, with a lot of therapy, and with the help of my grandfather from my father's side, I was able to produce the letter R. And I got a bucket of Lego knockoffs as a reward. I remember that. I have defeated my demons of not being able to say the letter R.
they are doing this. A reason they themselves can accept, at least. Which is what we're going to talk about today. But first, a brief bit of background to our mystical and magical adventure, as this has to do with that recently announced new wizarding game, Hogwarts Legacy 2. You know...
What? Wait, hold on. There's a Hogwarts Legacy 2? They're gonna do a sequel to that crap? They're gonna do a sequel to that shitty game? I've never heard of that.
One really would think that the story of a neglected, abused boy finally finding out who he really is and where he belongs would speak to a bunch of people who claim to have been born with the incorrect plumbing and really just wants to fit in. Unless, of course, they just happen to be a bunch of actual predators sectioning off their hunting grounds. But oh well, details. To return to the point, I'm sure you all remember Hogwarts Legacy 1. More so for the chaos surrounding it than the game itself in all due likelihood.
The chaos surrounding it? The chaos surrounding it?
As it's transmogrified into quite the shitstorm slurry. Partially, of course, this was because of J.K. Rowling, famous first and foremost for running transgender death camps out of her backyard in Scotland, presumably a hobby of hers in between wearing a tiny mustache and practicing marching. Oh, so at least you would be forgiven for thinking if you've seen any of the coverage.
I'm noticing that this video has a lot of fluff, but nothing really to say. I finally exhausted my nostalgia for that IP after the Epstein shit. I've never had nostalgia for that IP. Now's the time for me to proudly announce I have never read a single Harry Potter book. I have never watched a single movie. I've not engaged in any way with that series ever. I've never seen the appeal. I never thought it was fun. I always thought it was crap. I was ahead of the curve, okay? I always thought Harry Potter was crap. There you go. I always knew.
Around her for the last 6 to 7 years. But for once, the horrible hag of Hogwarts, the single greatest existential crisis to have ever struck the left, was not fully and solely to blame, as the game also drew a lot of hissing and spitting for its lead designer, Troy Levitt, who had once upon a time ran an anti-woke YouTube channel. And I mean, boy, that is pretty gosh darn evil. A moral crime equivalent, or perhaps worse, to abducting children, to irreversibly mutilating.
Yeah, nobody said that. It is stupid to run an anti-DSJW. It is a simple grift. It's really stupid, but you do you. Do whatever you want.
Them. No, wait, no. I'm thinking of the other crowd here.
What abducting? I don't trust this at all.
Anyways, much hubbub was had, and the moral majority of anti-bigoted fans, trans activists, anti-fascists, true feminists, progressives, and flag wavers of every kind swore they would destroy this evil wizarding video game via the means of a boycott, the likes of which the magic world has never seen before, at least not since the last 7 attempts to boycott Call of Duty, anyways. The game went on to not flop horribly and instead sell a mildly absurd 40 million copies, body slamming the entire prog sphere with the realization that they are not just a minority, but the smallest of all.
I mean, yeah. What a shocker. Persecuted minorities are in fact minorities. What an incredible discovery Ark Warhammer is making. That minorities are in fact minorities. What the fuck? Amazing.
Minorities. A loud one. This realization struck as hard and heavy as only a yo mama joke could hit if this was your birthing person. Now, one might suspect that if you had just personally...
If this person is embarrassingly unfunny, and I'm saying this, okay? I'm saying this. I am extremely unfunny. A lot of my jokes don't land. they fall flat. I say my joke, proud of myself, and nobody laughs. Some people cringe, some people just scoff. But this is on a different level. This is on a whole different level. This is bad. Don't try to be funny if you're not funny.
You've been cockslapped by the deity of truth and illumination, you would avoid doing the precise same thing again. However, strategy was never their strong suit, now was it? But insanity aside, what is it that motivates this sort of behavior? It's certainly not any actual belief that this is going to work. The entire left wing's campaigning against Harry Potter has been one perpetual humiliation engine. Seriously, the people championing another boycott of this would be better off live streaming their own anal annihilation by cheese grater than this.
What? I'm eating. Please stop making these disgusting analogies. What the fuck? From awful unfunny humor to cheese grating at what? You never believed in magic, Lucy? Just so you know that there's a joke on the inner far right circle that friendship is magic and magic is heresy. Wow.
Or, well, as the saying goes, insanity does have a logic all of its own. I suppose they could be deluded enough by their own sense of indoctrinated moral superiority to imagine just about any sort of £250,000.
What the fuck is indoctrinated moral superiority? What the fuck does that mean? So stupid.
Pink gummy bear at this point, and that is sort of kind of precisely what is happening. Because this reaction is not motivated by strategy. Well, once upon a time, the last time around maybe, it probably was, at least in part, as the left was still accustomed to being able to cancel things at will, people or products. This was a flexing of the progressive.
When? When has the left been able to cancel everybody at will? Hello, Great Rain.
Cancellation muscles, and it came back weak and wanting. A major victory for us in the opposition. But today...
Who are us? Opposition to what? Anti-fascism?
At this point in time, it is motivated by a genuinely primal reaction. An emotional one rather than a rational one. Fear. Now, sure, as I all too often say when discussing these topics, this may sound crazy, after all.
It does. It does sound crazy. And it also sounds stupid, you're right, yeah. That's right, it does.
How is a video game supposedly something to be feared, indeed to the point where it is killing?
I cannot with this fake ass accent. I just cannot. The left is both weak and powerful. It is indeed. They could cancel anybody on a whim.
People, and I do mean kill, as in they will use that precise verbiage when talking about J.K. Rowling.
Any other media, and yeah, probably buying Hogwarts Legacy. However, it gives money to J.K. Rowling, who actively founds lobbying against trans people, so it does kill. He's pronouncing the word kill in such a weird way. Kill.
And this may be news to you, but J.K. Rowling is not actually driving around the countryside sniping trans people from the top of a double-decker bus.
Yeah, nobody said she did. Nobody ever said she did. That's not what people mean when they say that her actions leads to trans people's deaths. But Hardcore Hammer is not a very smart person. He's not. Spoilers. Shock.
At least I'm reasonably sure we would have heard of it if that was the case, but there is a real and widespread fear on the left that there is a, quote, transgender genocide happening right now. As per usual, this is a linguistic trick using the...
It's not a linguistic trick. I don't think Hardcore Hammer is qualified to even open his mouth on the topic of genocide. I don't think he has read the convention even once in his life. I don't think he knows what's in it. I don't think Hardcore Hammer knows what genocide is, quite frankly.
The word genocide, with its obvious implications, to stoke sympathy from the outsider and fear in those inside the group. And it has been quite effective, with many of the left genuinely believing and internalizing this message. So instead of simply going on with the mockery outright, for from mockery, albeit satisfying, we learn little, let us investigate
What the fuck is happening?
it then.
Yes, please investigate it, please.
The justification for the genocide term comes from Raphael Lemkin's definition.
Oh. Okay, he's actually gonna talk about Raphael Lemkin, by the way. Not Raphael Lemkin, Raphael Lemkin, a Polish Jewish lawyer.
Definition of genocide. He was a, and I quote from Wikipedia,
What the fuck is this?
a Polish Jewish lawyer.
Okay. What the fuck? What's with the what? What's with this weird reaction? What's wrong with being a Polish Jewish lawyer now? Well, fucking excuse me. Okay.
Yeah, I know, I know. But anyway.
You know what? What the fuck? What do you know? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What? What the fuck was that reaction? You refer to because it was prongs? What a weird reaction.
Anyways, he coined the term genocide, and he defined it thus.
He coined the term genocide based on his earlier work on the crime of barbarism. Yes.
Quote, genocide means any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group, such as killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about physical destruction in whole or in part,
Mostly Software says what he knows is that his Nazi audience won't take anything that follows seriously. Jesus fuck. God damn.
imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group, or forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. The salient points here are, of course, causing serious bodily or mental harm, along with deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. The left argues that transgender people are experiencing an epidemic of violence, covering the bodily harm part.
Not just violence. There is an argument being made that rights are being taken away. And if trans people cannot engage with gender affirming care, then they're being effectively erased as a group. Also, Lemkin's definition was wider than that which has been adopted by the UN, and also the world of academia deals with many different working definitions of genocide. So there you go.
And that the government, via legislation, is making it impossible and painful to exist as a trans person in America.
Yeah.
Further, that
America.
this is a deliberate attempt to destroy trans people in total, covering the mental and group conditions part.
Yeah.
And there is certainly a lot of
So what's the problem? What's the problem with this definition?
legislation going on targeting trans people in particular.
Yeah.
But all of this still sounds like a bit of a stretch, especially
Why does it sound like a stretch? Please give me your analysis, Ark Warhammer.
bathrooms and sports legislation. How is blocking a man from pissing in the woman's lavatory genocidal?
That is the stupidest question that I've ever heard. And it just shows me that you have no clue what you're talking about. It's like asking, okay, how is banning Jewish people from sitting on certain benches, from entering certain parks, from entering certain facilities, how is banning Jewish people from public life a prelude to the Holocaust? Inconceivable. That is... It's incredible. It's incredible that Ark Warhammer can ask something like that with all seriousness. Oh wait, no, yeah, of course he can. He's stupid.
Or stopping a man from beating the living daylights out of a woman in the ring, somehow making it impossible for trans people to exist.
Oh no, men are not doing these things. No.
And is there really legislation out there banning trans people from healthcare?
Yes, a lot of it actually. Yes. The person was a cis woman, of course. Of course, Ark Warhammer would not look into these things. Of course, Ark Warhammer is a complete idiot. Yeah, of course, there's a lot of legislation that actively bans healthcare for trans youth and for adults as well. Mostly software says there's like 800 anti-trans bills every year. Only some of them are about bathrooms. Some of them literally take away identification. Yeah, it's just silly.
Well, as mentioned previously, the prog is quite fond of linguistic tricks. This section has quite a lot of that. So let's sally forth into the marshes, shall we? Firstly,
sally forth.
Healthcare. Because this would be by far the...
Ah, yes. Of course, if Ark Warhammer does not consider trans people getting hormones, etc. as healthcare, then of course no healthcare is being banned. If he doesn't even consider it healthcare, brilliant.
The most egregious one. If there was a governmental system designed to deny healthcare to trans people, so if one shows up...
What do you mean? Trans people can go to a doctor and cure their, I don't know, arthritis just as anybody else can, can't they? They have access to the doctor. Fuck me. Is this going to be the argument, unironically, that trans people can cure their cough at the doctor just as anybody else?
Bleeding head wound, the doctor would simply go, ew, that's a man in a dress on a...
Fuck me, it is the argument. It is unironically the argument being made here. God damn. Fuck me. No, he doesn't even say that. He doesn't even say that. He's gonna say, if you're gonna go to the doctors with a broken arm, the doctor is gonna treat your arm just like anybody else. So of course trans people have access to the same healthcare as anybody else. Oh, God. I've expected it to be something like what Vladimir said in the comments, that there's no such thing as trans healthcare. But no, the argument is even stupider. The argument is even stupider.
Touching that, I mean, that would indeed be somewhat unreasonable. However, shocking though it may be, that's not quite what we're talking about here.
No.
By and large, the healthcare legislation is things like banning gender-affirming care for minors.
And adults. Adults as well.
Whether it be the old snip or drugs.
No, that's not even... Surgeries are not even happening to minors.
The things targeted are so-called gender-affirming surgeries, like top surgery to add or remove breasts, and modifications to the lower half, like carving out a gash down there, for example, to
a gash
simulate a vagina in the same way that fucking
yeah, of course, Ark Warhammer does not know what bottom surgery is and what it does. Of course, what a shocking development, huh?
A lawnmower as it's running constitutes masturbation. Or to install the, to be fair, rather awesomely running constitutes simulate a vagina in the same way that fucking a lawnmower as it's running constitutes masturbation.
What the fuck was that? Mostly software, also arresting teachers for calling children by their preferred pronouns. Oh, brilliant.
Or to install the, to be fair, rather awesomely sounding neo-penis. And
okay, Ark Warhammer does not understand surgery. Great. Also, this also is, I'm pretty sure this is used in penis reconstructive surgery as well for cis people, so...
yes, just on the off chance you are a UA citizen and wondering, do my taxes pay for the neo-penis? Then yes, yes indeed they do.
Okay, so what? So what? Yeah, the taxes pay for many things. Whoop-de-doo.
And this is considered critical access to healthcare.
Yes. Yes, yes it is. Are you gonna provide some argumentation as to why it's not?
As much as I see the appeal of the neo-penis, I am...
Oh wow, really milking that joke. I swear to God, I said it before, I'll say it again. I'm not funny. I recognize that I'm not funny. Whenever I try to be funny, people just whinge and cringe. But this is just so beyond. This is... I could not be this unfunny even if I tried. Even if I purposely tried to be this unfunny, I just couldn't.
Not at all convinced that this does indeed equal critical healthcare. But this
Why? Why doesn't it count as critical healthcare? Because you don't like the name neo-penis? That's not an argument. Why does it not constitute critical healthcare? Explain, make your case. Oh wait, you're not gonna, because you don't have a case.
Perspective comes back in. In the Prague worldview, identity is everything.
Prague?
You are defined by what you are.
I mean, yeah. What? Are you not? Are you not defined by what you are? Literally, that's just that's everybody. You're literally defined by your weird bigoted identity. You have nothing else without it.
being trans is to be the opposite gender, and equally, if not more
Being trans is not to be the opposite gender, by the way. Non-binary people exist, for one. So that's not even true. To be trans is not to be the opposite gender.
more importantly, to be accepted and seen as that gender, to be affirmed both legally through things like passports and public registration, etc., and socially by passing as a woman.
Why woman? What? Trans men exist. Non-binary people exist. What the fuck is happening? Why women in particular? That all trans people want to pass as women? Even those with neo-penises want to pass as women? That makes no sense. But of course it makes no sense. So let's not forget who we're watching. Let us never forget who we are watching.
Since most bearded men will have a hard time with the latter part, gender-affirming care is therefore necessary to be that gender. Remember as well that they believe a priori that men can be women, literally, biologically women.
No, nobody believes that men can be women. Trans women are simply women, that's it. It's not men being women.
Therefore, any attempt to refute or block the idea that a man can be a woman and vice versa, like...
Yeah, nobody says that a man can be a woman.
Care is therefore necessary to be that gender. Remember as well that they believe a priori that men can be women, literally, biologically women.
There is no such thing as a biological man or biological woman. I mean, no.
Therefore, any attempt to refute or block the idea that a man...
Oh, look, Nyara is mentioned. Yes, trans women are biological females. Yes, trans men are biological males. Transphobes, the believers in biological reality, simply do not understand biology and how human sex works. Biologist. Oh, well, let's not forget that this person here is a biologist. Ark Warhammer is most definitely not. Ark Warhammer, and that may come off as a shock to you, is not a biologist. Not a specialist in anything.
And can be a woman and vice versa, like refusing them access to the facilities that they would otherwise, being a woman, be allowed to gain access to. For example, blocking access to sports or bathrooms. This is then systemic discrimination. Because in
yeah, that's right. Yes, it is.
their eyes, this is just a woman seeking to gain access to the women's bathroom.
Yeah, bravo. You've got it. You've cracked the code. Yes.
There is no other differences between a trans woman and a woman than the fact that one is denied access and the other isn't.
Yeah. In this case, yeah, in the case of the bathrooms, yes. What are you saying?
And furthermore, a woman that is a woman, despite not being a woman,
What the fuck does that mean? A woman being a woman despite not being a woman. That's like, I'm sorry, you're just rambling. Why is the woman not a woman?
must of course be given the surgery she requires to be a woman.
No, the surgery is not required to be a woman. It's required to alleviate gender dysphoria, which is not the same. God damn, those are basic things. Those are basic things that you can Google in 5 seconds flat.
Denying that care is like denying insulin to diabetics. Cruel and deadly.
I mean, yeah, it is cruel and deadly, yeah.
A somewhat reaching conclusion, but that...
Why? Why is there a reaching conclusion? Can you make your case for that? Oh, you're just gonna say it. You're not just really gonna elaborate it any way, shape, or form. Of course. Of course not.
Is the logic.
Why would you? You have nothing to say. There's no argument that you can present.
And if we accept the previous propositions, then I can see at least the cruel part. But deadly? Not paying for a woman's cock enhancement is deadly?
What?
How precisely do we make that pig fly?
You're so stupid. Person is so stupid.
It is at this point that we bring up Hogwarts Legacy.
Because we're talking about suicidality, you idiot. That's why. That's why it's deadly.
Again, and how it is literally killing people. If denying gender-affirming care or access to bathrooms and female sports is systemic oppression, then that is the government targeting trans people for being trans. This in turn makes it harder to be trans. Furthermore,
also the anti-trans legislation is not just limited to bathrooms and sports.
Trans people are often viewed as the source of many problems today, including being parasites on the LGBT community. This dehumanizes trans people. And
yes it does. Thank you.
Leads to societal ostracization.
Yeah.
The dehumanization will then lead to an acceptance of violence against them and thus genocide. Man, I wish I knew this logic back in the day when they were...
That's not the entire argument. That's no.
Calling gamers nothing but sex pests and rapists, but oh well, details, I'm not holding a grudge.
What the fuck? No, what? Yeah, all gamers were not just called predators. A little bit of a self-report there, but...
In other words, all of this makes it really suck to be trans, which is also, by the way, the reason for the downright remarkable Minecrafting rate.
Gamers, the oppressed group. The genocided group.
Because in a world where you sit at the very top of the progressive pyramid, well, that's just not a world worth living in, apparently. Furthermore, this is all a targeted plan, with the goal, they argue, to make being trans so impossible or dangerous that the identity of being trans disappears.
Okay.
And since
that is, yeah.
Identity is you, this erasure equals death. Or to summarize as to how this relates to Hogwarts, J.K. Rowling is a TERF, trans-exclusionary feminist.
Radical feminist. The word has an R in it. TERF, not TEF.
She believes that men
Is he physically unable to read the letter R? It says TERF, not TEF.
Pretending to be women specifically to infiltrate and steal away female spaces. As a logical extension of this, she rejects the idea that trans women are women. Their very existence is in fact nothing more than a plot.
I'm sorry, I trust medical experts more than J.K. Rowling. A shitty author. Vladimir says, I guess the agreement has been made that... Just stop being. Duh. True.
To hustle in on her privileges as a woman. J.K. Rowling has furthermore funded significant legal battles against trans women and people, like getting the UK courts to rule that a man in a dress is indeed actually a man. Like a magic spell, unmolesto, and boom.
What? Unmolesto?
Transgender women have been, legally at least, wiped from existence in the merry old nation of Albion. Following the logic...
Well, the EU says that trans women are women, so what now?
Laid out earlier then, this in turn means that J.K. Rowling as good as went house to house, door to door, and personally erased every single trans person in Britain. The right wing of...
No, because not all trans people are women. This person is really stupid. Really, really stupid.
course, disputes all of this rather stridently, arguing that outside of a microscopic number of people who do genuinely suffer from the mental illness that is gender dysphoria,
transgender dysphoria is not classified as a mental illness. So, again, incorrect. And again, you can Google this in 5 seconds. Like the research that you need to produce this pre-recorded, scripted video is within minutes. The research necessary to correct all the mistakes in this video takes minutes at the best.
the majority of trans people today are the victims of a social contagion, a fad
Yeah, that's bullshit.
for attention.
Prove it. Prove it. Prove that it's just a fad. Prove the social contagion thing.
And popularity. And
Okay, sure.
the statistics appear to bear that out.
No, the statistics don't appear to bear that out.
With some studies like the UK Tavistock Gids referrals showing how the number of trans people per 10,000 was sub 0.1 in 2009.
Except it's not trans people, it's gender non-conforming. Whatever, it's just bullshit. People cannot read statistics, people cannot read studies, people are illiterate, and then they make videos. And gain, how many views did this video have? 11,000? That's actually pretty sad for a 122,000 subscriber count channel. Having 11,000 videos on this crap is pretty sad.
And then in 2021, the number had risen to 8.3. That is an over 80-folds increase and an even higher increase
What is it,
in
COVID?
referrals. Yeah, the chemicals in the water really are turning the frogs trans. All this is a
Ha 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 ha. That's so funny. Holy shit. What a funny joke. Oh my god.
societal thing rather than a physical thing. And if it is, as the data seems to indicate, a societal contagion, then medical...
Yeah, the data does not suggest that. You're illiterate and you cannot read the data.
treating it with irreversible consequences is just about the worst possible idea we could be having right now. But I'm not really here so much to deliver the counter-arguments as I am here to explain the Hogwarts legacy phenomenon, so...
Of course. Take it away, Chief.
Let me largely gloss past that.
Yeah. You better. Yeah, just move on. Move on, please.
In addition to the previous explanation on why the left believes this is genocide, then, we must also add that the left believes transgenderism is not something
The fuck is transgenderism?
you can fix. They do not believe there is a cure for transgenderism, only treatments. Beyond that, still, since...
Also, transgenderism, there's no such thing as transgenderism. Nobody needs treatment for being trans. You get treatment for gender dysphoria. This is just a video made by an illiterate person. You don't need treatment for being trans. There are trans people that don't suffer from gender dysphoria. They're perfectly fine. They don't want or need treatment for being trans. God damn. This is sad. This is sad and pathetic. Vladimir says, it's him pretending or being silly, arguing that these crazy lefties are saying that you can't just stop being trans. To which he's saying that, oh, what crazy people, just stop being trans. Duh. True. Just stop. Have you considered just stopping? Oh, Maya Mayora now sent me a video. I guess I know what I'm doing after this video is done.
Gender dysphoria isn't something you get rid of or fight away.
Yeah, no, not every trans person has that.
Repressing it, therefore, only causes further mental stress and struggles down the line, making the person even sicker than before.
Oh, no.
Combine this with the idea of erasure we went
over. Erasure?
The notion of denying that a person is trans is erasing, thus destroying the identity, thus killing them. And we arrive at a position where even suggesting that there is a cure rather than simply treatment, that there is a way to fix a person.
Okay, what's the cure, Ark Warhammer? Give me the cure. Give me the cure to gender dysphoria. Please, please suggest to me this magical cure. Let's go. Do it.
To think that they are the right gender after all, well,
what the fuck does that mean? The right gender. Everybody's the right gender. What do you mean the right gender? Trans women are the right gender. What does that even mean? The right gender.
That is obviously transphobic. And
yes,
a clear case
using language such as the right gender is indeed transphobic. Quite a lot, yes. Yes, it is in fact transphobic. Yeah. God, you once again you have cracked the code. You got it.
Case of erasure.
Erasure.
And therefore, murder. For the final point of the explanation, then, notice now how
also genocide and murder are two distinct crimes.
All of these posts are either violent, like burning down the school, or rejective, very, very rejective. If you play this, I'll never speak to you again. Or absolute in your need. Everybody's needs to reject it. If you
trans lives are more important than Harry Potter. That is objectively true.
The wizard game, you are denying the value of trans lives. Straight up, their lives. Not merely their inconveniences or anything, their actual
inconveniences? I'm sorry to tell you, but the wizard game does not inconvenience anybody in a direct way. How would it?
Lives. It seems hysterical. Absurdly so. And
yeah, of course. You can reduce anything to absurdity. You can reduce any topic of absurdity if you're a dishonest piece of shit. So yeah, of course it sounds absurd.
Has, by and large, drawn mockery this time around, as the left does not have the societal power it once did. But if you believe all of the things we have gone over today, then you believe that the state, special interest groups, the entire internet, games companies, and a billionaire, J.K. Rowling, are all coming for you. Specifically to make your life miserable and to eventually destroy you.
That's not the argument.
To literally kill you and commit genocide against you and your kind. This is a very dangerous and very effective form of indoctrination.
Oh my god.
Classic cult tactic, in fact, where you intentionally see.
Is it really a classic cult tactic to say that that the state is doing a genocide against you? Classic cult? What? How is that a classic cult strategy?
Seek to separate a person from others, from reality.
How is that? How does that follow? That saying that the state has genocidal policy is isolating you from others. Who are the others? Is the state your others now? Is that what's happening?
At all possible, and ensure the only succor and safety they can seek comes from the cult itself. In this case, the ideology of progressivism.
Oh my god. It's the ideology of progressivism.
Once this sets in, bringing somebody out of the cult and back to reason is extreme.
What is the reason?
extremely difficult, if not damn near impossible, because they have already been told and accepted in this case that you and everybody else out there that is not explicitly on
the
their
king of reason, Ark Warhammer, the king of reason,
side and is constantly vehemently verbal about it, all of the others seek their total annihilation. And everything that happens in the world, even something like a video game or a movie, is reframed as yet another ingredient in a genocide, targeting you in particular. That is how you get to the point where you actually believe that a video game about pretending to be a wizard is out to kill people.
No, nobody says that the game where you pretend that you're a wizard is out to kill people. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And you really have to be an illiterate to come to that conclusion. That's not the argument that is being made in the slightest. The argument is that the revenue from this game is being used by J.K. Rowling to fuel anti-trans projects. That is the argument that is being made. Nobody says that the video game is out there to get you. It's just, who is this for? Who is this video for?
It requires a fair bit of...
Who is stupid enough to actually accept these arguments as sensible or sensical? Who?
Mental gymnastics. And perhaps more importantly, it requires a lot of repetition of the indoctrinating ideas and, as well, as I mentioned, the linguistic tricks. This doesn't work if you're simply telling somebody that a game doesn't represent them or might in some way mildly inconvenience them.
How would a game inconvenience you? How would that even happen? How would a game have the power to inconvenience? Are you stupid?
This only functions through fear layered upon fear upon fear, causing the target to self-isolate to protect themselves from, again, what they've been told is a literal genocide, literally killing people. If that's the kind of headspace someone is in...
As opposed to what? Figurative genocide?
And you can see why they might do some really off-the-wall stuff.
Like what?
Like freaking out over a wizard game. Until next time.
The only person that I see freaking out here is you.
I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon.
Embarrassing.
Till then, have a good day.
Embarrassing. Who is this video for? Let's see the comments. Newest comments. Trans is not a race, religion, ethnic group, or even a sexuality. It is people of one gender thinking they're the other. There's nothing to protect. Also, yes, Lemkin's definition of genocide was wider than the one adopted in the UN. It included social and political groups, and these would include trans people. All right, I am ready. That was awful. What have I been sent by Maya Mayor?
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
True. Absolutely true and real. The glass ceiling broken, gamers shall rise. Ooh, is Tales of Eternia finally returning? I'm excited for this. I'm actually excited for this. Lucia wrote a poem. That is exciting. Hello, Polyphonica. Gamers rise up. Speaking of gamers, Speaking of,
Guys, my favorite Tales game is possibly getting a remaster, and I'm incredibly excited for it.
that's your favorite Tales? There are better Tales of games than Tales of Eternia.
So let's just talk about and see what exactly this is and what it all means.
Okay. How exciting. We should play more Tales of games on stream, honestly.
Hey all, Shinky here. I have talked about Tales time and time again, and I'm really excited for this announcement. So Tales of Eternia came out, it got a PEGI rating earlier today, and while I don't jump on every leak, it's incredibly hard not to get excited when it is your favorite game of all time.
Tales of Destiny should be on receive a remaster.
Tales of Eternia was my intro to the Tales series, and it's not even a stretch to say that I am more excited for this than I can even put into words. This is the game that really made me realize just how much I love RPGs. So I want to talk about it and just go into everything, how I feel about it, what the league actually is, and...
You've seen me play Tales of Destiny on stream. Don't even try to pretend to be shocked by the title. Okay, don't even try. I'm about to boot up Tales of Destiny right now if you don't cut it out. If you don't cut out this behavior, I'm gonna, okay? Put it up.
Everything.
Yes.
So if that's something you're into,
Tales of Destiny.
make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe and use that hype so it really helps out the channel. That being said, let's just jump right into what the leak is. So what's being claimed is we are getting a remaster of Tales of Eternia. There was a PEGI leak. It was leaked as PEGI 12, saying that we were supposed to get it on April 16th, 2026. I understand that was 2 weeks ago, so maybe that makes it sound a little bit fake. I'm thinking maybe that was the day it was originally supposed to come out when it got rated. So who knows, right? Like, it could be real, it could be fake. I'm leaning towards real. Sure, maybe it's me coping a little bit, but
yeah, you
anyways. So it says here that Tales of Eternia remastered, not remade, remastered, is supposed to come out on April 16th, 2026.
Well, it's past April 16th, 2026. So why are we even talking about this?
And it says just a bunch of various things. The game has received a PEGI 12 because it features moderate violence and use of bad language, which honestly, I can't really think of much for bad language in Eternia. And it says, what is the brief outline? A role-playing game which follows the story of Reed and all his friends, Farah and Keel, as they meet a mysterious girl named Meredy, who speaks an unknown language. Their subsequent quest to discover her origins leads them across a dimensional boundary to an entirely different realm known as Celestia. And then it goes all into the issues. This game contains depictions of non-realistic looking violence towards human and fantasy characters. Players defeat pixelated enemies using magical attacks and will wield weapons such as daggers, spears, swords, and axes. Are you totally gonna forget about, the giant cannons or, Farah punching things in the face or sicking a squirrel on? Whatever. Violence can be frenetic with exaggerated and colorful impact-like effects. Players have a health bar which depletes when hit. There's no health bar. And characters can be heard, yada yada yada, blah blah blah, talks about it. Oh, it says here, the use of bad language, including bastard. Didn't they only use that for a weapon? But anyways. Yeah, so it kind of lines up with what Bandai Namco has been doing lately. They've been on a roll with the remaster project, and beyond that, we've gotten Tales of Berseria, Tales of Xillia.
Yeah, why would you remaster Berseria? What not worth getting?
We got remastered, Tales of Graces F remastered, and Tales of Vesperia remastered. We've gotten all of these, and they have announced that Tales of Xillia 2 is coming, but there's no announcement for that at the current time. So it does go in line with everything that's happening.
Why not Fantasia or Destiny or any other? Why Eternia in particular?
Now, I will say this is not confirmed and this is a leak, but I really want it to happen. My gut reaction when I saw it was, really? This is happening? I need it. Give it to me now. I'm sorry. I'm like really, really excited for this. And
you're gonna be so disappointed.
Really need it to happen. like I said earlier, Tales of Eternia was huge for me. Like, I was really just getting into RPGs. I had played a couple games. I think I had played the first Lunar. I played Wild Arms 2. This was really when I was just starting to get back into JRPGs. So I ended up visiting a friend, he had rented the game, and that's where I first played it, and I fell in love with it immediately. It has everything that you need. It has that late 90s, early 2000s JRPG feel, with the characters and the pixel art. The combat system is incredibly different from most games at the time, and then you have the two worlds, Inferior, which is, not as amazing as the other world, Celestia. They look at them as kind of, well, inferior, that kind of thing. Like, it had that charm of things like Final Fantasy IX, but it was just more action-based. And the big thing about this is we haven't seen really a release since then. Yeah, it was on the PlayStation 1 and the PSP, but that's it. It has never seen a re-release. But as for the remaster, there are a couple things that I would love to have in it.
Yeah.
For example, the skits. So I don't know if you know, but in the North American
they've been
release,
cut out.
the skits were like basically stripped. In the Japanese release, there were tons of skits, kind of like what you see now, where, little banter between the characters. When it got localized in North America, these skits got demoted down to just directional skits, where it's basically the characters interacting with one another, but all it is okay, this is where we have to go next. It's a little bit nice and kind of fun, but it was nothing like the original releases. Now, the game itself, it could be using maybe some frame rate buffs or load times, but they really weren't that bad. And the game ran really smoothly on the PSP and the PS1. In fact, I think the PSP was a little bit more smooth. I think it ran at 60 frames per second everywhere, where the PS1 ran at 30 frames per second on the world map. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me on that. But there are a couple things that I would be happy for.
I'm just waiting for an old Tales of game to be remastered, like Abyss or older. I mean, Tales of Eternia is older than the Abyss. Like, Eternia is much older than the Abyss.
They added. For one, a fast forward maybe. We don't really need it for battles, but I mean, if you want to run across the world map and get across quickly, fast forward could really help. Or skippable scenes. That would be nice as well. And I wouldn't be opposed if we had gotten some Japanese and English voice acting in there. I like the English voice acting. The English voice acting is downright terrible. But
yeah, it's horrible. It's bad.
I feel like that's kind of why I really like it. And the Japanese, it's Japanese voice acting, so it's not a huge thing. And then as for maybe some localization changes, now I say that, but I feel like any localization change would probably get looked at as censorship, which...
What? Why would it? What the... Oh god, people, once again, Americans don't understanding what censorship means. Tales of Fantasia blew my mind. Yeah? I mean, Tales of Fantasia is a good game. It never came out in English, mind you.
Who knows? Like, I don't really...
Yeah, but not official yet. I'm not getting my hopes up yet. It's true. I'm not getting my hopes up either.
Pay attention to the censorship. If a game is fun, a game is fun. That's all that matters to me. Who knows? Now, PEGI in Europe, they're not going to just rate something that could possibly happen. They're going to actually rate something that is confirmed. So I believe this leak is real. Of course, it could be false as well. But I'm...
What the fuck? Oh, God. What a video.
Not 100% sure, so I'm going in positive as I always do, hoping it gets announced, but this is not confirmed. Now, Tales announcements, they are a little bit inconsistent at times. Like, this could be coming out next, or maybe this is 5 remasters away. Regardless, I'm very, very happy that we are getting something like this. And as far as I know, it could be nothing at all, but with Tales, especially Tales of Eternia, I try to go in the most positive way possible.
Great.
What could this mean as far as the Tales series goes?
Nothing yet.
Maybe they're testing interest in older Tales titles. Maybe they're checking to see if maybe we want Destiny, maybe we want Fantasia, or maybe a legacy collection of those older Tales games.
A legacy collection would be nice.
The big thing, maybe they're expressing interest to see if we want the Japanese-only Tales games, like Tales of the Tempest. I know it's terrible, but anyways, Tales of Innocence,
Rebirth.
or most importantly, Tales of Destiny 2.
Rebirth. Hello, Tales of Rebirth. Have you even heard of it?
Tales of Rebirth.
There you go.
I'm
Thank you. There you go.
really excited for this. If this is real, this is instantly going to be my most anticipated JRPG of the year. I've already played it before, but I'm still really excited. So I want you to let me know. Have you ever played Tales of Destiny 2?
Oh
Or
wow.
Tales
Oh
of
wow.
Eternia?
I never knew that you played your favorite game of all time. Fantasia, is that the one with the cleaning broomsticks carrying the buckets of water? No? Yes, but that's Fantasia the animated movie. I'm talking about Fantasia written Phasia. Okay?
As it's known? Or is this going to be your first time when and if it gets released? Please let me know in the comments
a
below.
joke.
And I want you to know I talk about Tales every single week in one way or
We
another.
cannot all be funny.
So if you want more of that, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, use that hype, and stick around for a little bit. With that being said, this has been Shinky. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next
Amazing. Okay, let's go through some news, maybe. My goodness. What an amazing development, right? That's a joke. At least I'm not the joke. Look at that. Look at that face. Look at that face. Trump tells Putin to end Ukraine war before getting involved in Iran. You should never ever believe Putin, former Ukrainian Prime Minister warns Trump call. I mean, that's obvious. That's kind of obvious. Rebirth is great. Oh, you played it? You played Rebirth? You should never ever believe Vladimir Putin, former Ukrainian Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk has warned after a call between the Russian leader and Donald Trump on Wednesday. Yatsenyuk, who led Ukraine's government from 2014 to 2016, made the remarks on TVB World's On Record program, dismissing Moscow's apparent offer of a short truce tied to World War II commemorations and a tactical maneuver rather than a genuine peace effort. Yeah, of course, all those short-lived ceasefires. Already Russia has said that they will not use any equipment, they will not use any vehicles in that parade in May. What a joke. They're afraid of it being hit by Ukraine. Yet Yatsenyuk argued that the Kremlin's diplomatic messaging is aimed at manipulating Washington. He described Putin as a KGB operative. I mean, that is true. He's a former KGB operative running a mafia state. Adding that such outreach is designed to grab the attention of the US president while buying time on the battlefield. According to him, Russia's strategy is not de-escalation but political theater. That is correct. Once again, no notes. That is absolutely correct. He is lying through his teeth, period, he said, warning against taking any Kremlin statement at face value. Will the West ever learn? Will the West ever learn that Russia lies, that Vladimir Putin lies, that the will to end the war is bullshit, that Ukraine has agreed to a ceasefire, Russia has rejected it time and time again. Russia has maximalist demands. Russia basically just wants to subjugate Ukraine. Anybody familiar with the topic should know that already. It's the 5th year of the full-scale invasion. There's no excuse to be naive anymore. Even if you live in the West, there's just no excuse. Your grace period has passed. It's time to wake up. It's time to smell the roses. There's no time for ridiculous Ukraine takes anymore. Even if you're late to the party and suddenly you decide to take a little bit of interest. The remarks come amid continued uncertainty over US engagement in Ukraine, which has raised concerns among Kyiv's European allies, especially because Ukraine is in Europe and Russia does not just pose a danger to Ukraine. It definitely poses a danger to any country that it neighbors, and that includes Poland. Despite criticism of US political dynamics, Yatsenyuk stressed that American backing remains indispensable. Yeah, of course, because the United States is still the most powerful country, and it's better to have the United States on your side than not, I guess. Although, under Donald Trump, I'm not even sure how much that is worth. There is no way to win this war without America. Well, it's gonna be tough. He said, framing military aid not as charity, but as an investment in US security. Well, that proves to be more and more the case as time goes on. But then again, Trump and his America is a security threat to many countries. So we are stumped. The appeal follows debates in Washington over defense spending and continued assistance to Ukraine. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has recently highlighted the scale of US military commitments while questioning past aid levels. It feels like aid might be returned. Kyiv disputes some of these figures, insisting that direct military assistance, particularly ammunition, has been significantly lower than publicly perceived. This does not shock me in the slightest. Also, I'm supposed to be doing this on this. I'm supposed to be doing the news on this one. Kyiv disputes some of those figures. NATO ambitions resurface. The interview also addressed long-standing tensions over Ukraine's NATO membership. Yatsenyuk pointed to the 2008 Bucharest summit, where Ukraine was denied a membership action plan, arguing that the decision emboldened Russian aggression in Georgia and later in Ukraine. He maintained that Ukraine has since proven itself militarily, despite lacking nuclear weapons and facing a larger adversary. We're the strongest contributors to your security, he said, urging NATO allies to reconsider full membership, which I think I can safely say will not happen. Ukraine will not be offered full NATO membership anytime soon. That's definitely not happening, and especially not under Donald Trump, who is in a very good relationship with Vladimir Putin. So we can forget about that. But the fact remains, Russia lies. You should never trust anything that Vladimir Putin says. When Putin says he will not do something, especially when it's an invasion, you should prepare for the worst. And America is a bigger ally to Russia than to Ukraine. That is also a big key takeaway from this segment. Ooh, okay. That's cool. That is cool. Any thoughts? Any thoughts, my dear viewers? My dear viewers? No thoughts? Head empty? No thoughts, head empty? Any thoughts? Ooh. No? Hmm. I guess no. No. Okay, well, let's continue then. Putin lies, Kremlin lies, not much thoughts. True. Parent, Lucy, are you going to play Valheim or Saturday on Saturday night? Of course, I will try. Of course, I will try. I will do my best, okay? Let's go. Let's go to some more news because I'm excited. Are you excited? If you're not excited, you're a bigot. You're not excited on a trans person stream. Oh, yeah. Look at that. You're going to be in a good mood? I don't know. What kind of a question is that? Are you going to be in a good mood on Saturday? It's Thursday now. How would I know if I'm going to be in a good mood on Saturday? What do you mean? All right, we're traveling with Donald. Travel with Trump. US issues new passport adorned with president's face. You should, if you're an American, you should get this. Look at this. You should hope, imagine opening your passport and every time you open it, this greets you under the cover. This face, the face of the American Revolution. The US State Department said on Tuesday it would produce a limited number of commemorative passports bearing a portrait of Donald Trump, the latest example of administration attaching the president's likeness or name to official property. God damn. The passports will be released as part of celebrations for the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Declaration of Independence in July, State Department spokesperson Tommy Pigott said in a statement, which did not mention that the passports would contain Trump's image. Oh, God. Renderings provided by the State Department showed Trump's portrait displayed on a page inside the passport, opposite an image of the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. Because there's an equivalent, right? The most important thing in American history, arguably, and the most important man in American history. Thank you, Donald Trump. These passports will feature customized artwork and enhanced imagery while maintaining the same security features that make the US passport the most secure document in the world. And as you will get a Trump face on it, also the most valuable. The most valuable. Maya Mayer says, first they misgender me in my passport and now this. Yeah. They're gonna open your passport, they're gonna see Trump's face, they're gonna be like, this you? Is this your photo? Are you impersonating Donald Trump? The State Department official said special edition passports will only be available at the Washington Passport Agency. You go there, go to Washington and get one right now. Go to Washington Passport Agency and get your special passport. So those applying for a passport by mail would not receive one. Now you know what to do. You have to go to the Washington Passport Agency in person and apply for your Trump passport. There will be no extra fee charged, the official said. See? Amazing. You don't even have to pay extra to have Trump in your passport. Isn't that good news? Are you not happy about this development? You don't even have to pay extra. Hooray. I'm happy. I'm happy for you. If anything. For you Americans, that is. I cannot dream to have such a passport. The US Mint has also announced plans for a commemorative gold coin featuring Trump's image. Fuck me. Imagine people having this special coin on the display in a glass cabinet with Trump's face. To mark the anniversary of the country's founding. Yeah, why Trump during the anniversary of the country's founding is beyond me. What does Trump have to do with the country's founding? Oh, wait. I forgot. In a way, in a very spiritual and metaphysical way, before Trump came to power, America was dead. In fact, I'm pretty sure he said it many times, that America was a dead country before he came to office. So, in a way, under Trump, America has been reborn, and hence the country's founding. The country has been founded again under Trump. Hence the golden coin. See, I've explained it. And the Treasury Department has said paper currently will bear Trump's signature. The first time a sitting president has signed US money. This is so sad. Since he returned to office early last year, Trump's administration has also affixed his name to prominent Washington buildings, a planned class of Navy warships, a visa program for wealthy foreigners, a government-run prescription drug website, and federal savings account for children. Yeah, Trump is completely not ego-driven, right? Trump is totally not ego-driven at all. Totally not. This is totally not some really pathetic, thinly veiled ego thing. Totally not. So America's the dictatorship? I mean, not yet, but we're getting there. Minnesota bans use of AI to generate nudes of images of children. One Republican voted no. What the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna cover this. Hello, Reza Sani. I brought, and I thought Boris blue passports was a dumb idea. Yeah. Yeah, we have a Trump passport now. We have a Trump passport now forever. Aren't you glad? Also, hello. You don't quite yet have voluntary pledges to his image. Not yet. Just wait for it. You wait for it. We'll get there. The United States of America will get there. First, they have to create the images. And after they're done with creating the images, they will surely have you pledge to those images. It's gonna be a thing. I cannot wait. I'm waiting for it. I've just been given a topic to cover suddenly on Instagram. Look at this. Minnesota bans use of AI to generate nude images of children. One Republican voted no. One Republican decided, I actually really want AI to generate nude images of children. I really need that. Who is this Republican? This looks suspicious. The Minnesota House voted to pass HF 1606, which would prohibit users from accessing, downloading, or using websites, applications, programs, or software that allow them to nudify images, including those of minors. It passed 132 to 1, with only one person voting no, and that person was State Rep Drew Roach, Republican, State Representative Drew Roach. Holy shit! What's Drew Roach's stance on Ukraine again? Let me see. What's Roach's status? What is Roach's Ukraine? Roach. Oh. Yes, he's not. Wait, hold on. Is he not Drew? Is he not in the house? Oh, I guess he's not. He's not a representative. Jesus Christ. Also an Asmongold fan. I think so. He says that this kind of technology is disgusting and vile, but said that he opposed the bill because it doesn't get to the root cause and prevent it from happening in the future. He said that the bill doesn't prevent a person from nudifying an image if they know how to do it themselves, and that this attacks the companies instead. What? What kind of a stupid justification is this? Yeah, make it harder for people to do it. What do you mean? What the fuck do you mean? It's like saying, yeah, don't regulate drinking water. If people will, like, what is this? This is ridiculous. This is some of the stupidest justification for allowing child porn that I've heard. Yeah, why should we arrest people for child porn? Why should we ban child porn from porn sites? If people want to find child porn, they'll find it. Same logic, basically. Well, thank you, Fake Kyle Parker, for sending me this. This is lovely. Thank you. So excited that I've learned that a lone warrior, Republican warrior, has stood up against wokeism and decided that it's necessary, like having AI available to notify minors is actually extremely necessary for science. What a world we live in. At least it was only one Republican that was stupid enough to vote and stigmatize themselves, like making sure that nobody will ever re-elect this person ever again. Wait, what's his name again? Roach something. Roach. Where is it? Drew Roach. Drew Roach stances on Ukraine. and policy. Let's see what the stances are in Ukraine. Oh, not much. Crazy stuff. But okay, let's go back to the news. Let's go back to what matters in life. We go back to the excitement of the world going to hell. And the world is going to hell. Don't make a mistake by thinking that it's not. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. There's one more thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and that is North Korea being really proud of people killing themselves. The glorious leader of Korea has praised people for killing themselves. North Korea, suicide praise. As bizarre as that prompt sounds. Have you seen this newly exciting animation? I'm not watching any animations. I'm talking to you about North Korea, okay? North Korea's Kim praises soldiers who committed suicide to evade capture in Ukraine because, of course, it's better to suicide than to get captured in Ukraine and live and be treated fairly well, right? North Korea is such a fanatical cult. I guess a suicidal cult is pretty fitting right now. Like it's absolutely policy expecting North Korean soldiers to kill themselves rather than to be allowed themselves to be captured for information or anything else. Like this kind of disregard for human life is basically what some people imagine Ukrainian conscription to be. If you're gonna get captured, there's one bullet in your chamber. Seoul, April 29th. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has praised soldiers who committed suicide while fighting against Ukrainian forces in Russia's Kursk region, confirming an extreme battle policy. North Korea has sent an estimated 14,000 troops to fight with Russian forces in Kursk region. South Korean, Ukrainian, and Western officials said they suffered heavy casualties, with more than 6,000 North Korean soldiers killed in the fighting. Hello, Emily. The Reuters Iran briefing newsletter keeps you informed. Mounting evidence, including from intelligence reports and testimonies of defectors, has indicated that North Korean soldiers resorted to self-detonation or other forms of suicide rather than be captured, because then they can share information and they can be treated. They can discover that they are actually valuable human beings. They might actually discover that their lives have value if they get captured, rather than just being actually quite literal cannon fodder. Like, oh, you're gonna get captured? Well, you better self-explode. And the most interesting thing is that the glorious leader of North Korea has said that those soldiers that killed themselves expected no compensation for it, which probably means that the families of the self-destructed soldiers will not be receiving any support, money, or anything for this. It is not only the heroes who unhesitatingly chose the path of self-destruction and suicide to defend great honor, but also those who fell while charging at the forefront of assault battles, he said. Yeah. In a speech addressing Russian officials and bereaved families of a completion ceremony for a memorial honoring North Korean soldiers, Kim mentioned for the first time the lengths to which they had gone, praising them as heroes. According to a transcript published by North Korean state media, KCNA on Monday. Kim said those who survived were also patriots. Those who wraith and frustration at failing to fulfill their duty as soldiers rather than suffering the agony of their bodies being torn apart by bullets and shells. These two can be called the party's loyal warriors and patriots, he said. In return for sending troops and munitions, Pyongyang has received economic and military technology assistance from Russia, according to South Korean intelligence assessments. Look at this. And apparently, I doubt that the families will receive any compensation. I'm pretty sure that during this speech, Mr. Kim Jong-un has basically said that that the soldiers did not expect any reward. It's grim. But that is what North Korea does, and that is one of the biggest allies of Russia. Rather die than be captured. This is one of the narratives that is being basically told about Ukraine, by the way, just so you know. And it's insane. What do you even say to that? The fact that soldiers are expected to kill themselves. A country that has complete disregard for the lives of its citizens. They're used as livestock to be killed on a whim, and they are used as currency for technology. Lives have been traded in a deal with Russia in exchange for military technology and food, I guess. In other words, North Korea has gotten out of its rut by supporting Russia in the full-scale invasion, which I will add that to date, no Western country has the guts to do for Ukraine in any capacity at all. Russia's allies straight up send funds and straight up send troops on the ground to fight on the side of Russia, but no Western country has the guts to respond to such escalation in kind. No European countries like, okay, we're gonna send troops to Ukraine, and that wouldn't even necessarily mean that the troops would be sent directly to the front line to fight the Russians. No, they could be, for example, stationed at the border with Belarus in the western parts of Ukraine, which means that the soldiers that are currently at the Belarus border and all these other places could go to the front line, and I mean Ukrainian soldiers. If Western troops would enter Western Ukraine and man the stations there, logically speaking, all the Ukrainian soldiers over there would be freed up in order to fight the Russians. So the fact that no European countries have sent any aid whatsoever to Ukraine in the form of soldiers on the ground feels completely very pathetic to me. The fact that North Korea was able to do it. The fact that North Korea is a more reliable ally to Ukraine than the West, the entirety of the West combined. This is so sad. But I felt like I wanted to talk about it because, again, insanity, complete insanity. Vladimir says North Korea needed that missile technology because all of their stuff is outdated. Let's see, all they have is old Soviet tech. Wait, why do they need that missile technology? Oh yeah, because they want to at some point reunify. Although I'm pretty sure that in official doctrine they have accepted to be a separate thing. They have to upgrade their technology to carry nukes and threaten the United States, which makes the whole friendship with Russia even more comical from the United States, by the way. It makes it even more anti-US security, especially considering the fact that God, the United States is shooting itself in the foot, but that's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. Complete insanity. Utter complete insanity. Ukraine has been on a sanctioning spree. Sanctioned Israel for good reasons, stealing grain, and Israel has been crying, wait, you've not called anybody out like you called us out. And immediately it turns out that actually Zelensky has called out Egypt for buying stolen grain from Ukraine, and Egypt simply reacted by saying, oh, well, we're not going to do that anymore. Something which Israel could have easily done. But no, instead, instead of Israel doubles, quadruples, triples, quadruples, multiplicals, and just says, no, fuck you, Ukraine, you don't have proof. You can't tell us what to do. You're being anti-Semitic. And Zelensky is actually not a real Jewish person. Uh-oh. Public Anti-Corruption Council at Ukraine's Defense Ministry calls for National Security Chief to be suspended. Yeah, because Ukraine is doing secretly nothing about its corruption, as some people would say. Ukraine is just moving towards being more corrupt than ever. Corruption intensifies, except that anti-corruption bureaus are doing their job and catching people and trying people for their corruption. Zoshelix says, what, you mean to tell me Ukraine all this time wasn't an ally of Israel? Shock. Yeah, so shocking, right? What a shock. What a shockily shock. Almost as equally shocking as the fact that actually, in fact, Ukraine is combating its corruption. The Public Anti-Corruption Council at the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense has said that the actions of Rustem Umerov, Secretary of the National Security and the Defense Council, show signs of abuse of power and disclosure of state secrets during his time as defense minister, when he discussed with Timur Mindic a potential sale of a stake in the Firepoint arms manufacturer to investors. The council has called for Umerov to be suspended from the post of Secretary of the National Security of Defense Council. What do you know? All the narratives, I keep hearing those narratives about how corrupt Ukraine is, how things are actually getting worse, how Ukraine is in fact on the way to becoming a super mega ultra corrupt country that cannot be helped. And because the West has stopped supporting Ukraine, that means that now Ukraine does not have to pretend, quote unquote, not to be corrupt anymore in front of the United States and corrupts with impunity, shutting down all of its efforts. That's all nonsense, of course. Quote, Public Anti-Corruption Council at the Ministry of Defense on Facebook, quote, "We interpret Rustem Umerov's actions as showing signs of abuse of power under Article 364 of the Criminal Code of Ukraine. As regards the promotion of Mindich's interests in the case involving the Israeli body armor and Firepoint, we see signs of disclosure of a state secret by a person to whom it was entrusted or became known in the course of their duties under Article 328 of the Criminal Code of Ukraine. We interpret Timur Mindich's actions as showing signs of abuse or influence under Article 369(2) of the Criminal Code of Ukraine and incitement to misuse of funds under Article 227.4 and Article 210 of the Criminal Code of Ukraine. Details. The Public Anti-Corruption Council at the Ministry of Ukraine of Defense issued the statements after UP published recorded conversations and released an article on links between the former defense minister sanctioned businessman Timur Mindich and Firepoint. The files obtained by anti-corruption agencies indicate that Umyarov considers Mindich to be the actual owner of Firepoint. All the data clearly indicates that Timur Mindich is indeed either one of the company's beneficiaries or its only real beneficiary. Quote, when this fact is legally confirmed, for example, by a court ruling, Firepoint will completely lose the ability to supply its products to defense forces of Ukraine because Timur Mindich is on sanctions list. The Public Anti-Corruption Council noted that Firepoint had likely provided knowingly false information about its beneficiaries and should be fined and classified as high-risk supplier. The council called on the country's leadership to fully distance itself from past and present friendly relations with people who use their position, offices, and connections for personal enrichment. The council is calling for Umyarov to be immediately suspended from the post of secretary of the NSDC. See, like I told you, the organizations and the anti-corruption groups are doing their job. The council is also proposing that President Volodymyr Zelensky initiate the process of partially nationalizing Firepoint. Like, it's silly, the accusation that Ukraine is just getting worse and worse when it comes to corruption is just betrays a complete ignorance on the subject. The Public Anti-Corruption Council also believes the ministry should set up a working group with representatives of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, the branches and services that use Firepoint products, as well as anti-corruption and investigative bodies to audit the company's contracts and pricing. Council said it is ready to join the work of such a group. So yeah, it's... On the 9th of April, Ukraińska Pravda posted recorded conversations obtained by the National Anti-Corruption Bureau of Ukraine in the Midas case. They included a conversation between sanctioned businessman Timur Mindich and Rustem Umyarov, former defense minister, now secretary of the National Security and Defense Council, in which they discussed a potential sale of a stake in the Firepoint's arms manufacturers to investors. Umyarov's press service said the authenticity and relevance of the recordings must be confirmed by law enforcement officers. It also said Umyarov had already provided all necessary explanations to law enforcement agencies and that communication on weapons is part of the defense minister's duties. In November 2025, Firepoint co-owner and chief designer Denis Stielerman confirmed that Mindich had sought to acquire a 50% stake in the company. So there you go. Like what we can definitely learn from this is that the narratives around Ukrainian corruption that certain people peddle just show that there is a lot of ignorance around the whole topic. There are a lot of people that do more harm than good with their commentary around the subjects of Ukraine. The people should either care to read about these things, care to know about these things, or they should just not comment on them at all. Like, not everybody has to talk about every single subject. If you don't know about something, just say, I don't know. I don't know as to how much corruption there is in Ukraine. I don't know the situation in the country. I'm not an expert when it comes to this war. Not these weird conspiracy level nonsensical claims. Okay, because it doesn't help anybody. It works for nobody, and yeah, that's all I have to say about that. And then Trippy Fan says, Chief Designer CEO, they're learning new levels of corruption from Elon Musk and the Silicon Valley grift economy. Interesting. All right. It's been lovely. We've been streaming for like, how long have we been streaming for? Not that long, but I'm a bit tired. We're gonna end it for today, I guess. 3 hours, 40 minutes. So I guess I'm gonna raid you to somebody that's super friendly and nice. Like, I don't know who I'll raid you to. My apologies, I'm getting a bit tired. And I do have to do something. GNN? Who is GNN? I guess I'll raid you to Aiko. Okay, I'll see you. I'll see you all. Bye-bye. Much love.